A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the Goldbergs. A visitor from Mr. Edward Way's old world showed up at the Goldbergs in Glastonbury. Before he went to prison for a large-scale, almost magnificent fraud, Mr. Way was a very wealthy and respectable gentleman. Now, with his record, no one in Glastonbury wants to have anything to do with him. But Way's old cook, Bertha Nolan, came up to see him to offer him money and help. And her idea of Way is the exact opposite of the general one. It reveals the many depths in Way's character, but it doesn't justify what he did. Well, now, Molly's sitting with Bertha in the Goldberg living room.
Rosalie, darling, if you'll take Mrs. Nolan upstairs so she can refresh herself before she goes to the train.
If there's no train, I don't mind the bus.
Well, I'll communicate with the depot.
Thanks.
Right this way, Mrs. Nolan.
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'll wait down here.
Surely. Of course, only I just thought...
No, I'll just sit here and wait till it's time for me to go to the train.
Surely.
Thanks, John. There's only one thing I would ask for.
Yes?
Another cup of tea.
Oh, mine. Rosalie, still Mrs. Nolan?
All right, Mom.
Where did Mr. Way go, Mrs. Goldberg?
He went to see the bus schedule. He wants to see the bus and the train and see whichever reaches you see, and he went to the village for that purpose.
Poor man.
Would you like lemon in your tea?
Oh, cream, dearie. Cream, dearie.
Oh, dear, the poor man. Perhaps it wasn't too delicate in me to come to see him, in trying to forget the past, and me bringing it right back to him.
Well, that's all right. You came, so you're here, and I'm sure that Mr. Ray was very glad and very happy to see you. Rosalie, ask Papa if he wants to swallow a cup.
All right, Mom.
I'll call the station.
Mrs. I'm a bad one at remembering. I can't remember. And I'm just,
Goldberg. 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 Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Yes.
From the looks of things, I can tell you've been very kind to Mr. Way. I've got a quick eye and a knowing eye. That's why I'm going to ask you to do something for me.
Yes.
Mr. Way is going to need more money than he's got. I know it. And he wouldn't take it from me. But I'll feel a good deal better if I know it's someplace where he can put his hand to it when he needs it.
You call me, Molly?
Yes, dear. Yes, Mrs. Nolan is leaving soon, and I thought maybe you would like to swallow a cup with her.
Why not? What train are you, starting on, Miss Nolan?
We didn't make up the time yet. I'll call up the depot and find out. Mrs. Nolan, will you tell Mr. Goldberg what you just told me?
Yes, I will.
Please.
Well, I was just telling Mrs. Goldberg that
Hello?
you've all been very, very kind to Mr. Way.
Well, do unto others, and you won't be undone.
That's the golden rule. And there's nothing yet come along to take its place. So I've got Mr. Goldberg.
Excuse me just 1 minute. Can you so good on that here? Excuse me. What is the next train to New York, please? Yes. 418. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. 418 is the next train.
You have at least a half an hour.
Well, really, why do you take so much advance on the train?
I'm all right, Mom.
When you're carrying a tray, dearie, don't stoop. Hold your red eye and the load will be easier.
That's true of everything.
Yes, indeed. As I was saying, Mr. Goldberg, I can see you people have been very kind to Mr. Way, and you follow the golden rule that I follow myself. Well, I came here to give Mr. Way some money. It was money that he gave me when he had more than he needed. I saved it, but now that my son is doing so well, I don't need this money anymore. And since it was Mr. Way who put me boy through college, well, I think it's only right and fitting that I give him, Mr. Way, I mean, the money when he needs it. They stripped him to the bone every penny.
That's very nice of you, Mrs. Nolan.
Only Mr. Way won't take it. And so I thought if you would kind of hold on to it for him till he needed it. You could tell him about being here and so on, if you see what I mean.
It's entirely up to you, Molly.
Well, Pally, up to me. I mean, I think that I should talk it over with Oriane. Oriane is the woman that is in partnership with Mr. Ray in the chicken business now.
Yes, Rosala? Excuse me, please.
What the child did already.
I've dropped $1,000 here with me, Mrs. Goldberg.
But I mean, you hardly even know me.
There's nothing to know, Mrs. Goldberg. You've been kind to a man and everyone is treated like dirt. That's all I have to know.
Well, thank you very much. But if you'll excuse me, I'll discuss the situation with Mr. Goldberg. You see, it's a great responsibility, $1,000. And if you'll excuse me, I'll just discuss it with Mr. Goldberg. Drink your tea before it gets cold. If you want me to warm you up again, just tell me and I will. I'll be back shortly.
Hello, doggy. Hello, want a cookie here? Here. This doggy.
Oh. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Is Mrs. Goldberg here?
She'll be right down.
Oh.
Somebody take your phone, please.
Oh, yes. I'll take it.
Is that you, Dr. Glazer?
Yes, that's right, Mrs. Goldberg.
Take my phone, I'll be down in a minute.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hello. Oh, Oriane. Yes? Yes, this is Dr. Cater. Where are you? Oh. There you are. How is the little chicken business coming along? I'm glad to hear it. No, she isn't at the moment. Any message? Oh, I see. Well, if I see Mrs. Goldberg, I'll tell her to convey your message to Mr. Way. How does it feel to be partners with an ex-millionaire, Oriane? Pleasant. It's too bad that all he has left is his past and a bad disposition. Hello. Oh, well.
Some people are blind fools.
What's that?
I merely remark, so to speak, that some people are blind fools.
Oh, I quite agree with you.
And some are smart aleck fools.
Are you talking to me?
I'm merely expressing an opinion.
Oh, certainly.
The worst fool of all is the man that hasn't pity in his heart for his fellow man.
It's an admirable thought.
And an educated fool runs in a close second.
Yes.
And you're all of them.
What?
I urge you. I'm sitting here and I urge you.
You heard me what?
Don't try to deny it, you evil-mouthed, hard-hearted, blind fool of a man.
Have I offended you in any way?
Offended me. You're the man. How could you offend me? You being so small you couldn't touch the enemy's skirt with your hand stretched out heaven. The shame. The sin of it and the shame. But God, Leah, and God will punish you. You and all the others have got no pity for the next one.
Are you really talking to me?
And who do you think I'm talking to, the devil? Calling Mr. White those names. Sounding sarcastic and cruel to a man who has just been released from 3 long years in prison. He was the best man in the world. The kindest and the sweetest heart. There wasn't charity or a house or a place he didn't have. He never said no.
Are you his wife?
Heaven forbid it, no. I'm his old cook.
Well, I'm awfully sorry. I didn't
No,
mean...
you didn't mean it, but you said it. I hope you have to sit in prison someday for the mistake you make, and I hope the world is as wicked and cruel to you as they've been to him.
Really, I didn't intend to hurt your feelings.
My feelings. My feelings aren't hurt, but you said Mr. White was... Oh, it's you and people like you who make the world what it is today. Always being smarter than the next one. Always thinking of yourself first. Easy with the hard word and the wicked deed. Easy with the heavy hand.
I said excuse me.
Oh, I'll excuse you. And Mr. White will excuse you. But I don't know if God will.
Of course, Mrs. Nolan doesn't know that Dr. Cater isn't being hard-hearted, only jealous. But she gave him what for out of her devotion to the man who treated her so well. But, of course, the man who defrauded so many thousands of people has another side which Mrs. Nolan doesn't know.
Pet Milk Show, usually heard at this time, has moved to a new time period on Sunday nights. Be sure to hear Larry Douglas and Kay Arman on the new Pet Milk Show tomorrow night on NBC.
And now, here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to a homicide detail. A man's wife has suddenly dropped from sight. On the surface, it appears only as a routine missing persons case. You start to investigate. Suspicion grows. There is evidence of possible foul play. Your job, find the woman or find her murderer.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. Investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, September 15th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from lunch, and it was 12:56 when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, Joe. Waiting for you.
Hiya, Ben. Al.
Hi.
I hear you got something for us.
Here's a report right here. Gardener by the name of Eric Kelby called in day before yesterday. Said his wife disappeared from their home out in the valley Sunday night. Says he thinks she left him.
Well, it happens every day, Barghetti.
Not this way, it doesn't. Walsh and I went out yesterday to interview the guy. Story doesn't add.
Why not?
None of her clothes are missing. None of her luggage. She even left her pocketbook behind, full of money. Found out from the neighbors a missing woman is a 17-year-old boy by a former marriage.
So what?
An only child. Mother dotes on the kid. Shouldn't even say goodbye to him.
How did this Eric Kelby impress you?
Pretty grouchy with Walsh and me. No cooperation.
Wants to find his wife, doesn't he?
I don't know if he does or not. It's no help, I'll tell you that.
Can I see that report a minute now?
Here you are.
Agnes Trumbull Kelby, age 39.
Kelby's her second husband. First one died a little after the boy was born.
Mm-hmm. Disappeared Sunday night from her home, 546 Belasco Road, between 7 and 8 o'clock. When did Kelby call in?
Monday afternoon. Said he thought his wife might be spending the night with her sister. When he found out she wasn't, called us.
Did you meet the boy while you were out there, Barghetti?
Yeah, that's another thing. Kid came riding in on a bike while we were talking to one of the neighbors. Trying to talk to him, but the old man came out, hustled him inside the house. Then he starts eating us out.
What'd he say?
Told us it was our job to find his wife, not to go prying into her stepson's affairs.
Well, that's a new slant.
How about her friends and relatives around here, Al? Any besides her sister?
Walsh located a couple of her aunts. I don't think he's checked them yet, though. I'll tell you, boys, this is one I'll bet on.
Maybe. You got the names of Mrs. Kelby's relatives?
Oh, yeah. They're right over here. Sure wish we had a chance to talk to that boy.
Yeah. How's it feel to you, Ben?
I don't know. Notice anything else funny about the guy, Al?
I don't know. Now, here's those names, Joe.
Thanks.
Kelby was upset, all right. For some reason, he didn't strike me as reacting the way a normal guy reacts when his wife disappears.
All right, Al. How would you react?
Barghetti's worrying again.
Oh, now listen, boys. It's no fooling matter. This is one I'll bet on. It's a homicide.
All right. How about a copy of this report?
Yeah, where'll I get the phone? Missing persons, Barghetti. Who's that? Oh. Yes. Yes. About what? Oh, sure. All right, sir. 4 o'clock. Yeah. Goodbye. That was Kelby's stepson.
What do you want?
Thinks something's happened to his mother.
In police work, missing persons detail is not a department separate in itself. It is organized as a part of the Homicide Bureau. According to Barghetti, who took the call, the boy said he suspected his stepfather, and he didn't want him to know of any meeting between him and police officers. He would meet the officers that afternoon at 4 p.m. in a restaurant on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue. At 3:15, Ben and I left the office and drove out to the meeting place, the Dairyland Fountain and Coffee Shop. We arrived there at 3:45. At 8 minutes to 5, the Kelby boy still had not arrived.
Youngster's not very prompt.
Well, let's wait a little while longer.
Yeah. Smoke?
Yeah, thanks.
Want some more coffee?
No, thanks. Well, I guess the boy isn't going to show.
Think something's happened?
15 minutes after we left the coffee shop, we drove up in front of the gate of the Kelby nursery on Belasco Road. The house itself was set well back on the property, which covered about 4 acres. The entire nursery was surrounded by a 6-foot steel wire fence, and it looked like almost every available foot of ground inside was planted with some kind of a flower or shrub. Kelby met us at the gate.
Yes? What do you men want?
Police officers. Are you Mr. Kelby?
Yes, what do you want?
Well, if you'll shut those dogs up for a minute, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
I'm busy now. Can't you come back tomorrow?
Pretty important, Mr. Kelby. I think we better talk right now.
All right, if you have to. Red, Giant, down. You too, Honey. Quiet. All right. Now, what do you want?
Mind if we come inside?
These watchdogs of mine are pretty vicious. We can talk here at the gate.
All right, Mr. Kelby. This is Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday. We've been assigned to look into your wife's disappearance.
Oh. Did you find anything yet?
Nothing definite. Maybe you can help us. Would you tell us exactly what happened the night your wife disappeared?
What do you mean, what happened?
Well, when did you last see her? When you first noticed she was gone?
We finished up Sunday night dinner about 7 o'clock, and I laid down for a nap. Agnes went out on the front porch for some air. I woke up a little before 8 and went outside to look for her. She was gone.
Nobody saw her leave, Mr. Kelby?
Not that I know of. Maybe some of our nosy neighbors, I don't know.
How about your stepson? Wasn't he around Sunday night?
Bruce? No, went out to a show. Some other kids.
When did he get back from the show?
About 10, I think. Why?
Where's your stepson now?
Who are you looking for, my wife or my stepson?
Both, Mr. Kelby. Where's your stepson?
Gone. I took him over to my sister's in Alhambra. Been feeling bad since his mother disappeared. Figured the change would do him good.
When did you take him over to your sister's, Kelby?
This afternoon. What's that got to do with it?
We'd like to talk to Bruce.
No, I can't allow it. The boy's too upset. I can't allow it.
I'm afraid you're going to have to allow it.
Listen, mister, you can get off this property right now. No cops giving me sass.
Nobody's giving you sass, Kelby. We want to talk to your stepson, that's all. He might give us a clue as to the whereabouts of your wife.
And I say you can't see the boy. What's more, you cops couldn't find thorns in a rose patch. I'll get somebody else to look for Agnes. It's my business anyway, nobody else's.
It's our business, too, if anything's happened to her.
What are you talking about?
You better get your coat, Mr. Kelby. We're taking you in for questioning.
You come through that gate, and I'm going to let these dogs go, accidentally.
I'd hate to shoot the dogs. Now go on in the house and get your coat. Eric Kelby turned and made his way up the path and into the house. 5 minutes later, he came out. Without a word to either of us, he came down the path, closed the gate behind him, and got into our car. On the way back to headquarters, he chatted pleasantly about the weather, the nursery business, and his dogs. When we pulled up in front of the city hall, we met the reason for his sudden change in temperament. His lawyer was waiting for us at the door. We took Kelby to one of the interrogation rooms. His lawyer tagged along. We tried to question him, but the lawyer objected to 2 out of every 3 questions we asked. It was hopeless, and we knew it. So did the lawyer. We released Kelby, but we did get the name and address of his sister where the stepson Bruce was staying. After they left, Ben and I got back in the car and drove out to Alhambra to check on the boy.
Forget he had this one pegged right, Joe. It's a real sleeper.
Yeah. I'd like to know how the stepson missed that date with us this afternoon.
Well, if the kid called us from the house, his stepfather could have overheard him.
It's possible. Sister's house ought to be along this block, shouldn't it?
Yeah, let's see. 1408, 1406. Right is, Joe. That gray cottage, 1402.
Right. It's a nice-looking little place, isn't it? Well kept.
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood. I wonder how the lot prices run out here. Somebody's coming.
Yes, what is it?
Police officers, ma'am. Are you Miss Kelby?
Bertha Kelby, yes, that's my name. Why?
We talked to your brother earlier today, Miss Kelby. He said that you brought his stepson Bruce here to stay for a while. We'd like to see him.
Bruce? Yes, he was here till about, an hour and a half ago. I went to the store, and when I came back, he was gone.
Have you any idea where he might be, Miss Kelby?
Well, I telephoned my brother Eric's place just before you came to the door. He's not there. I don't know where he might be. I'm worried about him. He seemed so upset. This business about his mother's disappearance, you know.
Would you mind if we came in and looked around, Miss Kelby?
Well, no, not at all.
We went in and looked the house over from one end to the other. There wasn't a trace of the boy. We drove back to Kelby's nursery and satisfied ourselves the boy wasn't there. Then we came back to Alhambra and we kept an eye on Miss Bertha Kelby's home until midnight. No one came or went. At 5 minutes past midnight, the lights went off in the living room, and a few minutes later, in the back of the house. The next morning, when Ben and I checked in for work as usual at 8 o'clock, we met with Captain of Homicide, Frank Kearney.
What makes you two so positive there has been any foul play in this Kelby thing?
Well, that's just it, Cap, but not positive. It's a whole setup. It smells bad.
For instance?
That lawyer. If a man's innocent, he doesn't need a lawyer to sit with him in the interrogation room and tell him not to answer questions. Number 2, that kid's telephone call.
Maybe he doesn't get along with his stepfather. It happens, you know. Maybe he's trying to get back at him for something or other.
Maybe. Then why is Kelby hiding him out?
You sure he's hiding him out?
No other way to take it, Cap.
The Kelby woman walked away from her home Sunday night. Nobody saw her. She took nothing with her. No clothes, no luggage, no money. You checked with the family doctor?
Yesterday. He told us Mrs. Kelby was in perfect health. We double-checked the Wanderer's file and the Repeater's file and missing persons. Couldn't find her name in either one.
How about her relatives in town?
Haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, Cap. We'll check him this morning.
Well, one thing's certain. The woman couldn't have gone very far.
We checked the sheriff's office, the jails, the hospitals.
Sent out a teletype and an APB. Every cop in the city has her description. She's been gone almost 4 days, but nobody's seen her. How does that add up to you?
It doesn't. You better move on it. Check every one of Mrs. Kelby's friends and relatives.
Right, Frank.
Then try the neighbors. As long as I've been a cop, neighbors have been able to tell everything about anyone.
All that day, Ben and I made the rounds. First stop was the Western National Bank, where Mrs. Kelby maintained her account. Her savings statement showed a total balance of $31,564.17. Her separate checking account had a balance of $842.71. At the Farmers Mutual, we found the record of an insurance policy issued to Agnes Trumbull Kelby. It was a 20-pay life policy covering the insured in the amount of $30,000. The beneficiary was listed as the insured son, Bruce Trumbull Kelby, if living upon the receipt of such due proof. If not, the insured's husband, Eric J. Kelby. By the time we finished checking her financial status, the odds were piling up fast. From only casual reports, we knew that Eric Kelby was a frugal man. If he was greedy as well, if he wanted or needed money badly enough to kill, then he had all the motives necessary to murder his wife. Maybe his stepson, too. Ben and I started to make the rounds of Mrs. Kelby's friends and relatives. Our first stop was at the apartment of Agnes Kelby's sister, a talkative maiden lady in her early 60s.
Agnes just isn't that kind. Oh, I'm worried sick about this. I really am. And Bruce, the poor lad, he must be heart sick. And Eric, what does Eric say about all this?
He says he thinks his wife left him.
Left him? Why, that's ridiculous. How strange.
Can you think of any good reason why your sister would leave Mr. Kelby?
Why, no. They had tiffs, of course, small ones. But, of course, there was that argument about Bruce. The two of them always seem to be arguing about Bruce.
How do you mean, ma'am?
Oh, well, raising the boy and all, you know. The last time I talked to them, they were tipping about whether or not Bruce should be paid for working in the nursery for Eric. And the strangest thing, Eric seemed to be so upset about it all. Imagine. All on account of paying the boy a few dollars for good, honest work in that silly nursery. Well, you know, I'm the outspoken kind, and I just told Eric. Eric, I said, don't be an old meanie. Pay the boy.
That was the extent of the information which Mrs. Kelby's sister had to offer. Next, we called on an aunt, Mrs. James D. Trumbull, 83 years old. She could hardly understand our questions, let alone answer them. She hadn't seen her niece, Agnes, in a year. After that, we paid a visit to one of Mrs. Kelby's friends, a Mrs. Lillian Humboldt.
Well, I'm sorry, Sergeant, but I can't think of any good reason why she would leave him. Unless that silly business about Bruce got out of hand. You know, maybe Eric is just a little jealous of the boy.
Next, we called on Daisy McLeod, who worked as a day maid for Mrs. Kelby.
Officer, what Mr. and Mrs. Kelby thought, what they said, what they did, it's none of my business. I come in the morning, I do my work, I do it well. I'm not the nosy type, and I don't pry. I take half an hour for lunch, and when I'm through, I take my pay, and I don't expect tips, and I take the bus home. I'm not the peeking through the keyhole kind, sneaking around corners listening. But what I couldn't tell you about that man.
Exactly what do you mean, Miss McLeod?
Oh, he's a hard man, you know. They're always arguing about the boy. Bruce this, Bruce that. He's a nice boy, I think. He's never done anything to me. Oh, but the arguments. Him and her all the time. Should the boy be paid for working? Shouldn't he? Why? Why not all the time? It's just...
When Ben and I finished with a list of Mrs. Kelby's friends, relatives, and employees, we started out on the neighbors. None of them saw Mrs. Kelby after 6 p.m. the night she disappeared. 2 of the neighbors said they saw the porch light burning after 7 p.m., but both said the porch was empty. Mrs. Kelby was not sitting in her chair at the usual time after dinner. According to them, that was one of her habits. It was 10 minutes to 6 by the time Ben and I got back to the office. The light was still burning in Captain Kearney's office.
Full day, Joe. Not a mighty.
Yeah. Wonder what the captain's hanging around for.
Let's find out.
Get anything?
Pretty good luck, Cap.
Good. I've got some more for you. Just walked in 5 minutes ago.
What do you mean, Frank? Who walked in?
Bruce Kelby. He's waiting in the next room.
We went in the next room and met Bruce Kelby. He was small for a 17-year-old, dark-haired, and a little on the sickly side. He told us that he couldn't keep the date he made with us on the phone because his stepfather apparently did overhear the conversation and drove him directly to his sister's home in Alhambra. We asked him why he was so sure that his stepfather was responsible for his mother's sudden disappearance.
For one thing, all 3 of us usually go to the early show on Sunday night. Eric, Mom, and me. But last Sunday, Eric said he wasn't feeling good and he wanted Mom to stay home and take care of him. Then he told me to go on ahead to the show, so I did.
What time did you get home, son?
About 9:30, 9:45.
What was your stepfather doing when you got home?
Sitting in the living room reading the paper.
Did you notice anything unusual about the way he acted?
He was nervous and jumpy, more than usual, I think.
Anything else?
Yes, sir. When I came in through the front yard, I noticed the dogs had mud all over their paws. They'd been out somewhere in the nursery plots. And they won't go out in the plots unless Eric's with them. He doesn't want them to trample the seedlings.
What would your stepfather be doing out in the nursery at night? Does he usually do some work at night?
No, sir. None of the plots are even lighted. Only the greenhouses.
And the paths in the greenhouses are usually graveled, aren't they? No mud around.
It's my job to see that the greenhouse paths are kept graveled. I know they're not muddy. I fixed them the day before, Saturday.
What do you think it means, son?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I just know he's done something. He's done something to her.
Did your stepfather give you any reason for keeping you away from the police officers the other day?
No, sir. He said people were getting nosy, and he said it might be better for me over at Aunt Bertha's. She's his sister.
Do you think your Aunt Bertha might know where your mother is?
No, we hardly ever see her. We don't know her well at all.
We've heard your mother and your stepfather argued about whether you should be paid for your work in the nursery.
When I started to work for him, he promised he'd pay me. I was saving up to buy a 31 Model A. And then after a couple of months, when he didn't pay me, I asked him. He told me I ought to be glad to work for him for nothing.
And your mother argued with him over that?
Sure, it was her money that bought the nursery anyway.
How'd you get away from your aunt's place last night?
Well, Bertha had some shopping to do, and she left me alone. She locked the door to my room. Even the screen over the window in my room was nailed down, but I kicked it out and got away. I stayed at a friend's house last night.
Thought about where you're going to stay tonight?
I don't know. But I'm not going home. And I'm not going back to Bertha's place either. I'll get a room.
How'd you like to stay at my house a few days?
Sure nice of you, sir. Maybe I'd better not. Mom might not like it.
Oh, I'll take care of that. Now let's hop out and get some dinner.
Sure darn nice of you, sir.
All right, son. Come with me.
What do you think, Joe?
He could be lying. Yeah.
Now what, Cap? Shall we bring Kelby in again?
No, not yet. He's found out by now from his sister that the boy's gone. He probably figures the police station is the first place he'd come.
Wouldn't do much good pulling him in now, Ben. We couldn't even question him. 10 to 1 his lawyer would be waiting for us when we got back.
That's the problem. How do we get to this Kelby without his lawyer finding out?
Well, what about the early morning, Cap? Say tomorrow, about 5 or 6 a.m. Think you'd be looking for us then?
Yeah, that might do it.
We can just get by that pack of hounds he owns without waking the whole neighborhood. Might work.
If we could just question him alone. I got an idea it wouldn't take much to make him cop out.
All right, give it a try. Get out there in the early morning and bring him in for questioning as quietly as possible. I'll be in at 6 a.m. If you want me before then, call me at home.
All right, Frank.
Kelby's got a smart lawyer. It's going to be plenty hard to convict him without a body and corroborating evidence.
He's got 4 acres out there, Cap. You can hide a lot of bodies in 4 acres.
Well, that's what I mean. This case isn't ending. It's just beginning.
The next morning, Ben and I met at the office about a few minutes past 4 a.m. We had a cup of coffee and a donut at an all-night restaurant, and then we started for the Kelby place out on Belasco Road. We took 4 pounds of fresh horse meat with us to keep the dogs quiet if they raised a fuss. It was 28 minutes past 4 when Ben pulled the car to a stop a few hundred feet from the gate to the Kelby nursery. We got out of the car and made our way down the road to the gate. I reached in and tried the latch. It was padlocked. The dogs started in. Okay, Ben, looks like we'll have to jump the fence. Toss some of that horse meat over to him.
Yeah, here.
That's it. Come on, let's climb.
Keep an eye on those hounds. Looks like they could chew your leg off.
Yeah. Here comes a third one, Ben. Toss some more meat.
Yeah, there you are, boy. Go get it. Go get it, boy. There.
Look, Ben, lights going on in the house.
Come on, let's make it fast.
Who is it? Who's there? I'll set the dogs on you.
Police officers, Mr. Kelby.
What? What are you doing out here this time of night?
You're under arrest, Kelby. Get your coat.
You cops are asking for a peck of trouble.
Get your coat.
Where's my stepson? What you done with him?
What have you done with your wife?
You're going to pay for this. I'll have your jobs.
That's not the first time we heard that, Kelby. Let's go. Lights burning in the captain's office.
Yeah. All right, Kelby, in here.
You paid for this, mark my word.
Ben, take him in the office here and stay with him. I'll see if Frank's in yet.
Right, Joe. Come on, Kelby, inside.
Friday? You bring in Kelby?
He's down in the interrogation room. Ben's with him.
Somebody saw you.
Don't think so.
They must have. Kelby's lawyer's sitting in the next room.
Kelby again refused to answer any questions without the advice of his attorney. We released him. That day, Captain Kearney sent out 2 men to keep an eye on the nursery and report on all of Kelby's movements. Shortly after 7 o'clock that night, just after nightfall, we tried once again to bring in Kelby for questioning without his lawyer's knowledge. It didn't work. A little after we booked him, his lawyer obtained a writ of habeas corpus. We had to release him again. The 2 men assigned to stake out the Kelby place reported definitely that somebody was tipping the lawyer whenever unknown visitors showed up at the nursery and drove off with Kelby. There was nothing we could do about it. The next morning, Kearney came up with a lead.
I had a long talk with the boy last night. Accidentally, I think he's given us a pretty good lead.
Yeah?
There's only one way we'll ever get a conviction. That's by finding the body and evidence to tie Kelby in.
Yeah, that'll do it. Where do we start looking?
In a new rose bed next to one of the greenhouses in Kelby's nursery. The kid came up with it last night.
How come?
First, Kelby's crazy about saving $1 and making one.
Yeah.
In the nursery trade, especially where you have a limited area to work in, like Kelby, you cultivate every foot of ground. Every bit of soil you got is planted with something.
Mm-hmm.
Kelby's not the type to waste anything. Especially he's not the kind that would let ground lie fallow when he could plant something that might bring in a few dollars next season. Bruce tells me his stepfather has every inch of those 4 acres planted. Every inch. Except a 6 by 9 foot plot of ground in that rose garden.
Oh, that sounds like a long shot to me, Frank.
The boy said he prepared that piece of ground for planting late Saturday afternoon. His stepfather wanted it ready for Sunday morning. The plot of ground's still vacant.
Might have planned it yesterday, Cap. When's the last time you checked?
Before I came to work this morning. I called the men on stakeout next to the nursery. They told me the plot's still empty.
Mm-hmm. It's worth a chance, Frank. When do we look it over?
Tonight. I don't want Kelby or his lawyer to know a thing until we find that body.
Well, how are we going to work it?
We'll order up a crew from the crime lab. They can take probings through that plot and all around it. They can tell us without any guesswork how deep that ground's been worked over lately.
When do you want to start?
Be here in the office at 8:30 tonight. If my hunches are any good, we'll find the body.
It was 10 minutes past 9 that night when we got to the Kelby place. Lieutenant Lee Jones and his assistants, Kearney, Ben, and 2 other men from homicide. The men on stakeout told us that Kelby had left about 20 minutes before in a dark blue coupe. Ben brought along the usual supply of horse meat for the dogs, so we didn't have any trouble there. We found the empty plot of ground in the rose bed next to the greenhouse, exactly as Bruce described it to Kearney.
Ground's been worked over all right, boys. At least 4 to 5 feet down.
All right, Lee, let's start digging. Romero, take care of the dogs. Watson, grab one of these shovels.
Right, Captain. Hey, Kelby said these dogs were vicious, didn't he?
Yeah, why?
Look at these hounds. They're no more vicious than a lively coal. Look.
Higgins, get that light over here, will you? Thanks.
What is it, Lee?
Let me see. Teeth. Set of false teeth.
Been in the ground long?
Don't think so, judging from the shape they're in.
How far down would you say you are, Lee?
A couple of feet. Ground's real soft.
Lee, come here a minute.
What is it?
Body. Here's the shoulder.
All right, you men over here with Watson. Get the dirt off the face. Romero, you got a picture of the Kelby woman?
Yeah, Cap. Let's see. Oh, here it is.
Thanks. Get the light down here.
Hunch paid off, Frank. That's her. Ben and I went back to the car and notified communications to broadcast a warrant for murder on Eric Kelby. His description, together with the description of the car and license number of the car he was driving, was rebroadcast every 15 minutes. Then we went back to check the house. We found the front door unlocked. We went inside and looked around. In one bedroom, we found clothes scattered over the bed and the floor. There was only one old suit remaining in the closet. On the table next to the bed, we found an airline's timetable. We got to the phone and notified communications to alert all police details at railroad stations, bus terminals, and airlines, and then to send out an APB on the teletype. After that, we checked with the airlines. One of them told us that a man answering Kelby's description had booked passage for Mexico City. The plane was scheduled to take off at 10:40 that night from Burbank Airport. Ben's watch said 4 minutes past 10. We called the detail at the airport and alerted them. Then we drove over to check in person. It was 10:35 p.m. when Ben and I took up our positions just inside Gate 3, where passengers were boarding Flight 72 for Mexico City.
He's cutting it close, Joe. Got about 4 minutes more to make that plane.
We waited. The crowd got thicker as departure time came closer. At 10:39, Eric Kelby came through the main entrance, across the terminal, through Gate 3, into a pair of handcuffs.
I don't understand. What does this mean?
We found your wife's body, Kelby.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
In the rose patch next to the greenhouse. Your lawyer can't help this time.
Mexico City. Would have been a nice trip. Expensive.
I'll plead insanity. I didn't know what I was doing.
Be a nice vacation next year, Joe, Mexico City. I'm going to talk to my wife about it.
I didn't mean it. She slapped me. We were arguing about the boy. I didn't mean it.
I don't know if you did or not, Kelby, but you killed her. Come on. You missed your plane.
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Eric Kelby was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. He is now awaiting execution in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 14th in a new series of authentic cases transcribed from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the office of W.A. Wharton, Acting Chief of Police, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to William J. Weston, Jr. of the Washington, D.C. Police Department, who on the evening of March 4th, 1945, gave his life so that yours might be more secure. Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. If you enjoyed tonight's production of Dragnet, you'll want to listen to Richard Diamond, private detective, as played by the screen's romantic tough guy, Dick Powell.
The Pet Milk Show, usually heard at this time, has moved to a new time period on Sunday nights. Be sure to hear Larry Douglas and Kay Arman on the new Pet Milk Show tomorrow night on NBC. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Like anyone else, Van Barclay gave little thought to the precarious nature of everyday living. Had he had occasion to probe the fact, he might have acknowledged that danger is always present and that it can strike quite suddenly. Only Van Barclay wasn't thinking about such things. Perhaps he was too restless to care. A young engineer, unmarried, can get restless. Working in a new, strange city, he can get lonesome, too. Van Barclay was one or the other, or both of these things on a Saturday night, that he came out of a movie and went for a stroll along the Santa Monica Palisades in preference to going back to his hotel room. On a corner, he stopped to light a cigarette. That's when he first noticed it. The car was big, a Nash convertible. It cruised by him, came back around the block, moving slow. The third time around, he was standing on the curb, staring openly at the girl behind the wheel. Very nice. Young, blonde, considerably more than attractive. And she was looking at him just as obvious.
Hello.
Hello.
You opened a door before, no doubt.
In other words, isn't it a beautiful night for a drive?
Well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You weren't going somewhere important.
No, not at the moment. In fact, I was faced with a rather gloomy prospect of an evening at a hotel alone. And it is a beautiful night for a drive. I suppose it was on the golf course at Biarritz,
What?
where we met.
That's as good a place as any.
Yes, only I've never been there. But I have a good imagination. And then, I remember so well those evenings at Monte Carlo when you'd say to me, Van, you must sit beside me at the casino tonight. You bring me luck. You called me Van in those days, remember? Never Mr. Barclay. And I used to call you, what was it I used to call you?
It might have been darling, mightn't it?
Yes, might have been at that. Or maybe the mystery woman, huh? Beautiful, fascinating, and unpredictable. Especially unpredictable.
Oh, that's not very flattering, Mr. Barclay. You might have said, especially beautiful.
Yeah, I might have, and meant it. Okay, you win. You're not only beautiful and fascinating and unpredictable, but you're too fast a worker for me. How come?
How come what?
All this.
You're not happy about taking a drive with me, Mr. Barclay?
I'm delirious. But why me? What I got?
Well, you're not unattractive, you know.
Yeah, but baby, you never saw me before. How do you know what I'm like?
Perhaps I like to take chances.
Didn't your mother ever warn you about picking up strange men on the street?
My mother was rather unusual, Mr. Barclay. She taught me that when I wanted something, there was only one thing to do. Get out and find it.
Uh-huh. Okay, who's kicking? You'll pardon me if I pinch myself. This is something I wouldn't have believed. Sort of like an angel from heaven dropping in your lap.
Oh, I'm no angel, Mr. Barclay. Would you like a drink?
You're driving.
Then come on, we'll go in.
Well, it's the swankiest roadhouse I ever saw.
Oh, it's not a roadhouse. I live here. Come on.
It's not a bad little place to hang your hat.
Hang it, then. We like it here.
Probably have 2 or 3 scattered around the country.
Oh, no. Just a cabin at Lake Anderson.
Mm-hmm. Well, I gather you're not worrying much about any wolves howling at your door.
Not that kind, anyway.
The guy that owns this place must be a movie producer. Your father?
My father. And he's not a movie producer, just an art collector. Perhaps you'd like to take a look around. We have some very nice paintings scattered all over the house.
You think we can find our way without a guide?
There's no one else here, if that's what you mean. We only have one servant now. This is her night off.
Cozy, isn't it? The whole place to ourselves, all 50 rooms.
Oh, it's not that bad. We'll take a look as soon as we have that drink I promised you.
You feel like pinching yourself, don't you, Ben? This is the kind of thing that just doesn't happen. But it's real. She's real. And she's even more attractive than she looked in the car. And it isn't the cocktails you've had. Finally, she leads you into the library.
Like this room, Ben?
Very much. Always wanted something like this.
The right sort of library is good for a man. I designed this myself.
Mm-hmm. Even no interior decorating, huh? You're, pretty complete.
Thank you. Then, fix yourself another drink. The decanter is over there. I'll be right back.
Take your time. This is all very pleasant.
You fix another drink, sink into a big leather chair, and relax. When you open your eyes a few minutes later, she's back, smiling down at you.
Hello.
Hello again. Oh, I see your glass is empty. Well, that's easily remedied. I'll pour you another one.
Yeah, this is nice work. If you can get it.
Here you are.
Thank you. Nice perfume you're wearing.
Like it?
I like everything about you.
Good. Then you won't mind doing something for me, will you?
Anything, short of murder.
Walk over here.
To the closet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, open the door. There's something I want you to see.
Okay. I'll play games with you. Hey, I thought you said we were alone.
We are, Mr. Barkley. Because, you see, the gentleman in the closet is quite dead.
It's a great deal more than you bargained for, isn't it, Ben? Yes. When you stepped into the car at the invitation of the beautiful blonde, you didn't realize what kind of a ride was ahead. It was like a dream, wasn't it? Going to her home, having cocktails, and relaxing. And then in the library, you looked into the closet. Fantastic, Ben. Your mind spins, almost unable to cope with the situation, as you stare down at the quiet figure of a dead man on the floor of the closet. You scarcely hear the girl beside you.
You'll help me, won't you?
Huh? What'd you say?
All you have to do is help me hide him permanently.
Now, wait a
There's
minute.
a place out in the garden where some newly turned earth wouldn't be noticed, but I'm not much good at digging graves.
Baby. You can count me out. I don't know how this guy happens to have a hole in his head, and I'm not asking any questions, but just count me out on any part of his
You
deal.
said you'd do anything for me.
Yeah, but I don't go off the deep end for anybody, especially for a girl who's in the habit of keeping dead bodies lying around. No, lady. Pardon me. Well, I'll be seeing.
I think you'd better wait, Mr. Barkley.
Oh. Yeah. See what you mean. I see you're wearing a gun, too.
Uh-huh. And I assure you I know how to use it.
How can I doubt that, with the evidence staring me in the face?
Good. Then if you'll just pick up our late departed friend and come with me, I'll show you the place.
You know that business about your being no angel? I'm just about convinced.
You carry the body downstairs as she demands and go out into the garden.
There's a shovel. Start digging. Like I said, dig it big.
Sounds like a beach near here.
The back of the yard drops off to the beach. But never mind, you've got other things to do. Dig deep and wide.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, baby.
A heavy shovel full of dirt in her face knocks her off her feet. At the same time, you're leaping clear, racing for the drop-off at the back of the property. It's a wild, frightening scramble down through the rock and brush until you hit the beach, running hard. There are no shots, no footsteps. You're away, Van. Free. Far down the beach, you work your way back up to the highway, catch the bus for town in the safety of your hotel room. You're too upset to decide what to do that night. You want to call the police, but the memory of that blonde hair and those pale blue eyes stops you. You want to be sure before doing anything that will send her to the gas chamber. You turn in without deciding. Next morning, when you go downstairs, the desk clerk hands you something.
Good morning, Mr. Barkley.
Morning. What's this?
A young lady left it late last night.
Well, there's nothing written on the envelope.
She just told me to put it in your box.
Oh, well, thanks.
That looks awful green.
Yeah, $100 bill.
And no note, no nothing?
No.
I wish I knew your secret, Mr. Barkley.
You'd like to know that secret yourself, wouldn't you, Van? Now more than ever. $100 to pay for your silence. And probably a chance at more if you live up to the bargain. But there's also a chance to play it smart, isn't there? If you can find out more about this girl, her name, what's behind it all. You catch the bus again, and as you approach the big house, there seems to be quite a few people around. At the gas station on the corner, you find out why.
All set, Mr. Armstrong. Anything else?
That's all, Joe. Thanks.
Hi there. What can I do for you, mister? Run out of gas or something?
No, I was just walking, and I saw there was some kind of excitement around here.
Yeah, more than we've had in a long time. They found a body down on the beach this morning.
Oh? Somebody drowned?
Maybe so, but he got a bullet hole through his forehead first.
Oh, murder, huh?
Yeah, looks that way. Guy named Alfred Hamilton. Lived right up the street.
Over in that house?
Ridgely's? Oh, no. He used to be over there a lot, but he didn't live there.
Well, I noticed that there was a police car out in front.
No, that's part of the excitement. Not only is this friend of the Ridgely's bumped off, but Doris is missing.
Doris?
Yeah, Doris Ridgely. Mr. Ridgely's daughter.
Oh, that's Ridgely, the art collector?
Sure, you know. He's about the richest person in the neighborhood. Nice man, too.
Mm-hmm. And Doris, his daughter. I remember. I've seen her. She's a blonde, isn't she? Good looking?
That isn't the word for that girl. She's a peach, and she's beautiful.
Yes, but rather hard and spoiled.
Doris? No. Why, there isn't a nicer girl in town. And I ought to know. I've been taking care of her car ever since she started to drive. I sure hate to see her mixed up in anything like this. And missing, too. Why, she might be in the ocean herself, only her car is gone, too.
They think she murdered this guy, Hamilton?
I don't know. But if you ask me, she couldn't have. She's too regular. And if she did, she had a good reason. Hamilton was no good. I never could understand why Doris and old man Ridgely put up with him.
There's just two of them live there, huh?
Yeah, Mrs. Ridgely died a while back. Gosh, I hope they find the girl okay. He'd just about kill the old man if anything happened to her.
Yeah. When was this guy murdered?
Last night. And I can tell you exactly when. 10 minutes to 8 on the nose.
Oh? How can you be sure?
Because I heard the shot. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I did notice what time it was, because I was just getting ready to close up.
Did you tell the police that?
Yeah, sure.
Where did the shot come from?
How should I know? It was just a noise. Maybe from the house over there, maybe from the beach where they found him.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, say, who are you anyway?
Nobody important. So long.
As you walk away, you feel sure about one thing. That Doris didn't murder Hamilton at all. She was covering for somebody else, wasn't she, Van? And you've got to find her and bring her back. But where is she? Suddenly it hits you. The cabin she mentioned. Yes, at Anderson Lake. You decide quickly, Van. Next stop, Anderson Lake.
Hello there, young fella. What can I do for you? Got everything here a body needs. Groceries, notions, drugs, fishing, tackle.
No, I was looking for somebody, Pop. Thought maybe you could give me directions.
Well, I'm the person to come to. Can tell you about anybody in Anderson Lake. And who you looking for?
Doris Ridgely. She's got a cabin up here, hasn't she?
Yep.
Well, how do I get there?
You don't.
Huh? Why not?
Wouldn't do you no good.
Why not?
Nobody there.
But I'm sure Doris is up here, and I've got to find her.
Well, if you got eyes in your head, you wouldn't have to go to no cabin.
Huh?
If you look across the street over there, you'll see her car in front of Jake's Cafe. She's eating inside.
Okay. Thanks, Pop.
She's in Jake's Cafe. And you wait outside until she comes out. As she gets into the convertible, you slip around the other side and open the door.
Hello, baby. It's a nice day for a drive, isn't it?
Mr. Barkley.
Don't reach for your bag. I'll take it instead. I'll take a look inside, too. Yeah, just as I thought, the gun. You still got it. Well, I'll just keep it this time, if you don't mind.
Look, Mr. Barkley.
Now, just a minute. I'll do the talking this time. First, I'll give this back to you. Even if I had a price for this sort of thing, it wouldn't be $100.
It's all I had last night.
I said even if I had a price. I don't. I'll keep my mouth shut until I'm ready to talk. Or you are.
What makes you think I have anything to talk about?
Now, look, I think I know a good kid when I see one. If you're really in trouble, I'm sorry. But I don't think you are. I don't think you killed this heel, Hamilton. I think you're covering up for somebody.
No, I'm not. I killed him. He was threatening me. Threatening to tell something about me, and I killed him.
I don't believe you. All you did was try to get me to help cover up somebody else's work.
No, that's not true.
Okay. So you're not ready to talk yet. Come on, let's go for a drive.
Well,
You know, I'm sorry I had to smother you with that shovel full of dirt last night. But I didn't like the prospect of sharing that hole in the ground with Hamilton.
you mean you thought I'd... Oh, no, I never intended to do that.
Well, how'd you think you'd get away with it then? Just let me walk away to tell the cops?
I don't know.
Okay, baby, keep your chin up. Of course you don't know. You were mixed up in something you knew nothing about. Now, you couldn't have killed this guy, Hamilton, any more than you could have killed me. So, come on. Come clean.
No, I can't.
All right, now look, whoever this is you're covering up for, they'll be found out eventually. Probably they had a good reason for doing this, from what I hear about Hamilton. But now you've got to get yourself off the spot, and me too. We're accessories to the murder.
Yes, I know. Look, why are you doing this? Why did you come here?
I'll show you why. Does that answer your question? No talking now. Come on, start driving. We got to have a little talk with the police.
Well, Van, you found her, and she's grateful. You can see that. The way she smiles at you weakly, wonderingly. And perhaps later, when it's all over, you can pick up the dream where it left off. You think about it, you drive back to the city with her. Then as she swings the big convertible into San Vicente Boulevard, she suddenly slams on the brakes beside a police squad car.
Hey, what's the idea, baby? We don't want a squad car. We want to go to police headquarters.
Officer, arrest this man. He's wanted for murder. And be careful. He's got a gun.
You can't believe it's happening, can you, Van? But it is. And later at police headquarters, your dream is turned into a nightmare as Doris pours out a wild story to the chief of the Homicide Bureau.
Yes, they were both at my house last night. They left together. Then I heard a shot. When I went out looking, I found Mr. Barkley standing over Hamilton's body down on the beach. He'd taken his wallet.
What?
You'll find it in his pocket right now. The officer here already has the murder gun.
Are you kidding? Why, I haven't any wallet. I don't have a...
Easy now. Well, seems you do have a wallet, Mr.
You
Barkley.
see, Sergeant?
Yeah, but she put it there. She slipped it in my pocket while we were driving.
This is Hamilton's wallet, and this is the same caliber gun that killed him, Barkley.
But I tell you, I didn't kill him. It's all a lie.
Oh, hello, Mr. Ridgely. Thanks for coming right over.
That's right, Sergeant. He didn't kill him.
Dad.
It's no use, Doris. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you can't protect me.
Dad, please don't say anything.
I said it's no use, dear. You can release him, Sergeant. This young man and my daughter. I killed Hamilton. He was no good. I shot and killed him.
The surprises are hitting you like punches from a fighter, aren't they, Van? The attempted frame against you by Doris. And now, out of the blue, her father, facing the police, admitting that he killed Hamilton. You stare from one to the other, wondering and waiting. And then Doris breaks the silence.
But, Dad, you couldn't have killed Hamilton.
Why couldn't he? He just confessed. That's good enough for me.
He confessed to protect me. Dad had no reason.
He could have had the best reason in the world, blackmail. That was Hamilton's racket.
Blackmail?
That's the answer, Doris. Hamilton had been bleeding me for a long time. But a few days ago, I got the evidence to clear myself and expose him.
So you sent for him and told him. He got tough and...
I shot him. I had to. In self-defense.
Oh, look, officer, you found the gun in Hamilton's wallet on this man right here. What more do you want?
I tell you, I never saw this girl in my life until last night.
It's no use, Doris. It happened exactly as I said.
No, Dad, I know you didn't do it.
There's only one way you could know, Miss Ridgely.
Yes, Sergeant. There's only one way I could know.
I tell you, my daughter is lying.
Mr. Ridgely is right, Sergeant.
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. Find anything?
Plenty. His daughter's lying to protect him. We know from the gas station attendant's testimony that the shot that killed Hamilton was fired last night at 10 minutes to 8. We've checked every move of Miss Ridgely's, and at 10 minutes of 8, she was seen buying a pack of cigarettes at the corner drugstore.
And it was Mr. Ridgely.
Mr. Ridgely left Hamilton in his living room last night somewhere around 7 o'clock, probably after telling him he was going to expose him to the police. At 10 minutes to 8, Mr. Ridgely was seen having a drink at the Sea House.
So, Barkley, you did take Hamilton's wallet. It was your gun.
I tell you, I never even heard of any of these people.
It wasn't young Romeo here either.
And who?
Alfred Hamilton committed suicide.
Suicide?
That's right. There's no doubt about it. Powder burns on his face. He was left-handed. The angle of the bullet in the left temple shows the wound was self-inflicted. And tests prove beyond a doubt that Hamilton fired a shot a few seconds before his death. I guess when he realized Mr. Risley was going to expose him to the police, he just couldn't take it. Now, Mr. Risley, if you'll come into my office a minute, I'll show you the reports.
Dad, we'll wait in the car.
I'll be along in a minute, Doris.
Well, baby, you gave me a nice ride. A very nice ride.
Oh, honestly, Van, I'm terribly sorry, but I was worried crazy about Dad. Van, do you think we could have that drink again? Sometime, maybe?
Now, look, you're a nice kid. You're beautiful, fascinating, all those things. Especially beautiful. But, baby, if you ever see me walking down the street again, just go on by. Please.
Featured in tonight's story were Jack Webb and Joan Banks. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Hazel Lytle and John Dunkel, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A 22-year-old girl has disappeared. A letter has been received. It demands $30,000 for the girl's return. The letter is signed, The Wolf. Your job, get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, October 18th. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from the staff's office, and it was 3:26 a.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Got those mugs you asked for, Jeff. Here they are.
Thanks, Harris. Backstrand leave yet?
In a minute. I'm going out with him. What's your address out there, the Sullivan place?
814 Castro Boulevard. You go straight out Santa Monica, take a left at Castro.
I remember. You ready, Chief?
Yeah, man. Friday, you call Romero yet?
Right now.
Get on it. This one we don't fool with.
Yeah.
Come on, Harris.
Hello?
Sorry to wake you, Ben. This is Joe. How you feeling?
Oh, hi, Joe. What time is it?
3:30 a.m. How do you feel?
Oh, a lot better. Be back to work tomorrow.
You'll be ready in 20 minutes. I'll pick you up.
20 minutes. Okay, what's up?
You remember Martin Sullivan, vice president of the Third National Bank?
Sullivan? Yeah, what about it?
Got a 22-year-old daughter, or he had one. She's gone.
Look, we made good time, Joe. Where are we headed?
Sullivan home out on Castro Boulevard. Ed's out there now with Harris.
Any leads to work on?
No, nothing so far. The girl disappeared a little before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. At 11 last night, he got a letter. They want $30,000.
Sullivan hasn't got that kind of money.
Yeah, I know it. Poor guy's almost out of his mind.
Fill me in. How'd it happen?
Well, the guy took the girl out of business school. He had her called out of class. Told her father was sick, said he was a friend of the family.
Well, how about the teachers? What was their story?
Said the girl didn't want to go with the man at first, but he finally talked her into it. Kept telling her father was dying.
That's about as low as it comes.
Yeah.
Did he use a car?
Witnesses said it was a blue sedan. They didn't get the license number or the make.
Did they remember what the guy looked like?
About 5'9", 160, brown suit, dark hair.
Nothing else?
No. Here's a copy of the letter. The usual. Read it.
Yeah. I have your daughter, Judy. Get, what's that?
$30,000.
$30,000 quick if you want her back alive. Don't call police or I'll kill her. Contact you later. Signed, what is it?
The Wolf.
Oh, Wolf.
I could think of a better name. Come on, here we are.
Who's got the original note, Joe?
Lee Jones down at the crime lab. He's checking it for prints and handwriting.
Well, if it was... Oh, hi, Dave.
Right on in the house, boys. Just wait for you.
Thanks, Dave.
Hi, Joe. Ben. In the living room.
Thank you.
That's the way I see it, Mr. Sullivan. Now, you understand exactly what you have to do?
Yes, sir. I'll do as you say.
All right. Here are the two men who will help you. Sergeant Friday and Sergeant Romero, homicide.
Yes, how do you do?
I do.
Mr. Backstrand, are you sure about all this? He might get frightened. He might do something to Judy.
Believe me, Mr. Sullivan, it's the only way. I know how you must feel, but we can't do anything else.
Oh, all right, I want to see Mrs. Sullivan first. I'll be ready in a moment.
Any developments?
Yeah. Come on back in the dining room. There it is on the table. Second note from the guy.
Telegram.
When'd this come?
About half an hour ago. Guy phoned it into Western Union from a public booth. Couldn't trace it.
I see, Joe.
Yeah. Be at Elysian Park, 5 o'clock this morning, near Balkan Drive. Come alone. Bring 30,000. Will return girl. Don't tell cops. Kill her if you do. The Wolf.
4 a.m. now, Skipper. Not much time.
I know it. We'll have to do as he says. No other way.
Then Sullivan's going out there alone?
You're going with him. You and Romero. You'll be hidden out in the trunk of the car.
Any plan?
Get him. That's all.
Ben and I went out the back door and into the Sullivan garage. We jammed ourselves into the trunk compartment, and Harris closed the door on us. The latch was fixed so that the door could be pushed open from the inside. A few minutes later, Mr. Sullivan came out, got in the car, and we drove off. At 3 minutes to 5, we pulled up at the meeting place in Elysian Park. We waited. Nothing happened. At 5 minutes past 5, it started to thunder.
That's all we need now. Thunderstorm.
Stuffing in this trunk, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Ben, listen. Sullivan.
Must be. Have we seen anything?
Sounds like he's pacing up and down alongside the car, doesn't it?
Now, listen. Can't hear anything else. Can you?
No. Better stay under cover.
Yeah. The rain's starting in. Wonder what happened to the Wolf.
Cold feet, maybe. Let's wait it out.
Joe.
Yeah?
What time you got now?
Move over a little, me. Am I watching?
Yeah.
A little past 5:30.
Sergeant.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes. Do you think he's coming? It's late. It's getting daylight.
We better wait it out, Mr. Sullivan. Now, look, don't come back here again. If he's watching, you might tip him off.
Oh, all right. All right.
Poor guy.
Joe?
Yeah, I hear you. Coming up the road toward us.
It's stopping.
Yeah. Coming over to our car. You ready?
Right. talking with Sullivan.
They're coming back here. Now watch it.
Brandy, Romero.
That's you, Ed?
Yeah, the meeting's off. Come on out.
All right.
Got a cramp in my leg.
I'm cramped all over.
Mr. Sullivan, drive back home. We'll contact you there.
All right, Chief.
Ben, Joe, come on over to the car.
What's the story, Ed?
The guy had no intention of following through with this meeting tonight.
Well, how come?
He told us. Going at 5 o'clock. Tried to trace the call. He wouldn't stay on the line long enough.
What did he have to say?
He wanted more money. Bragged about how smart he was. How we'd never get him.
Well, he knows Sullivan's called in the police.
Sure. Said he didn't care. We'd never get him anyway.
Yeah, pretty cocky.
Pretty smart. Take my word for it. He's no dummy.
Control 1 to 80K. Control 1
I'll get it. 80K to Control 1. 80K to Control 1. Go ahead.
80K, go to your office. Code 3. Go to your office. Code 3. See you later.
All right, Romero. Let's roll.
More than 12 hours had passed since word of Judy Sullivan's disappearance had been phoned in a homicide. During that time, an all-points bulletin containing the descriptions of the suspect, his car, and the girl had been sent out on the teletype to law enforcement agencies throughout the area. The same descriptions were broadcast over the police radio every hour. The Sullivan home had been placed under strict surveillance, and Mr. Sullivan instructed not to contact the suspect without knowledge of the police. He'd raised almost $10,000 in cash to buy him off. The serial number on each one of the bills had been copied by a police stenographer and then rechecked by a homicide officer. So far, the Wolf, as he called himself, had made 3 separate contacts, but he'd covered his tracks well. We knew that he was somewhere in the city, 500 square miles of it, and we knew we had to find him fast. It was 18 minutes past 6 when we got back to homicide.
Hi, Chief. Fellas.
You got something for us, Mac?
Here, this letter. Special delivery. Came in about 25 minutes ago.
Can I see that, Mike? Stay away from Sullivan. If the kid's found dead, it's your fault. Stay away, the Wolf.
All right, Mike. Get it over to the crime lab and have Lee check it for prints.
Right, Chief.
Will you find any prints on the second note, Mike?
2. Run them through R&I now.
Friday, Romero. Get down there and see if they got a make.
Right, Ed. Let's go, Ben.
Who's watching the Sullivan house beside Harry?
Carpenter and Davis. Backstrand's afraid the girl's father will try to make a deal with the guy.
Has he tried it yet?
No, he hasn't yet. You couldn't blame him if he did. Worried sick.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are.
Hi, fellas. Just coming down to see you.
Got something, Larry?
Those 2 prints Lee Jones listed off that letter got a make on them from the single print file.
Good, Larry. Let's see, huh?
There it is. Pull the whole package on them. Donald Alfred Kiefer. Looks like a real bad one, doesn't he?
Donald Alfred Kiefer, male, Caucasian, age 29, 5 feet 8 inches, 170 pounds, brown eyes, dark brown hair. He had 1 previous arrest for forgery in Los Angeles 10 months before. Kiefer's occupation at the time of his arrest was listed as bank clerk at the Third National Bank. Ben went back into the files and pulled the crime report. Then we called Ed Backstrand.
There's the answer, Skipper. At the time Kiefer pulled that forgery job at the bank, Mr. Sullivan was one of the vice presidents.
Go on.
Sullivan was the one who preferred charges against Kiefer, and so that he was prosecuted.
Where's this Kiefer now?
Well, let me see. He was placed on probation, and on May 16th this year, he returned to his home in Omaha, Nebraska. That's 1380 Mackinac Avenue.
All right, Romero. Get Omaha on the phone and have them check out Kiefer.
Right, Skipper.
Friday, take Kiefer's package and this note down to Don Myers. Have him check the handwriting. Then get over to the crime lab and see what Jones lifted off that last letter we got.
All right, Ed.
The faster we work, the faster we'll put this guy behind bars. Now move.
How's the writing compared, Don? What'd you find?
Yeah, looks good. See here? Slants as crosses, double oops as L's, open A's, pressure on the downstroke. Donald Kiefer, Wolf, same handwriting.
Lifted 3 prints off this last note, Joe. Brought them out with the iodine fume gun. They match with the first.
Thanks, Lee. Did you find anything else?
I don't know if it'll help you much. We examined the paper for watermarks and texture. Both notes are written on the same kind of paper. Impressions show both pieces of paper from the same tablet. Checked the density of the carbon and the pencil he used. Both specimens match. Same pencil.
By mid-afternoon, Donald Kiefer's description had been broadcast throughout the area. Bulletins were dispatched to all departments, and an APB was teletyped for the entire state. Men were stationed at every post office in the city to watch for notes that might come through the mail.
The bus depots, railroad terminals, the airports, and all the main roads leading out of the city were under strict surveillance. The entire Los Angeles area was broken down into single square-mile districts, and a house-to-house canvass was started. A squad of men were assigned to cover each square mile. Outlying towns and cities were requested to do the same. By 5 o'clock that afternoon, the greatest Dragnet operation in the history of the city was underway. We were sure Donald Kiefer was somewhere inside. At 12 minutes past 5, Ben got the call back from the Omaha police.
Yeah, I got it. 6 X-ray 419. Nebraska plate, right. Well, thank you a lot. Yeah, bye.
They had to make on the car.
Lots more. The Omaha cops looking for Kiefer, too. Want him for a robbery there 2 months ago.
Yeah?
In that robbery, he used a stolen 1939 blue sedan. Nebraska license plate, 6 X-ray 419.
How about his family and his friends back there? They all been checked?
Yeah.
Well, get that car description to communications, huh? APB, teletype, and broadcast. I'll tell him.
Yeah, right, Jeff.
Right in, Romero.
Yeah.
What are you tied up with?
Well, just got a call from Omaha. Make on Kiefer in the car.
Give it to me. You two get out to the Sullivan house fast as you can. See Harris.
What's happened, Kevin?
Martin Sullivan's disappeared.
All right, Harris, how'd it happen?
About 3 this afternoon, Mr. Sullivan got a phone call. Said he had to go down to the bank. I went with him. He had me wait in the reception room, and he went in his office. After waiting 10 minutes, I got suspicious and went in. He was gone. That's it.
Did he get any more money?
This morning, $5,000.
Did you get the serial numbers off the bills?
Yeah. Shouldn't have let him get out of my sight.
Forget it. Right now, we've got to find out where he's gone to meet Kiefer.
Did you talk to Mrs. Sullivan about it, Harris?
She says she doesn't know anything about it.
Let's try her again. Come on, let's go inside.
All right, fellas.
All right. Where's Mrs. Sullivan, Dave?
Back in the sitting room, lying down. Doctor's with her.
Come on. What time you got, Ben?
6:35.
I'll get it. Hello? Where are you? Oh. Where are you now? Where are you now? We'll be right out. That was Martin Sullivan. He met with Kiefer up in Laurel Canyon.
Did he get his daughter back?
Yeah. Wrapped in newspapers. All cars in the area were notified that a contact had been made with Kiefer. We got in the car and drove out to Laurel Canyon. The entire area had been blocked off. We found Martin Sullivan standing in the middle of the road at the end of East Winding Way. 500 feet down the hill was a private residence where Sullivan had telephoned us. It was the only building in the immediate vicinity. A few yards beyond the point where East Winding Way ended, back in a clump of tall grass, we found the body of Martin Sullivan's daughter. We notified the crime lab, Chief Backstrand in the coroner. Despite a severe state of emotional shock, Martin Sullivan tried to tell us the story.
He said Judy was all right. I believed him. I wanted her back. Judy. I took the officer, the one watching me, said, come along, no police.
Did you see his car, Mr. Sullivan?
I wanted her back. I wanted Judy back. I did as he said. I drove here at 6 o'clock and I waited. I put the money on the front seat like he said.
Did he get the money, Mr. Sullivan?
And I got out, left parking lights on. I stood up there by the end of the road, waiting.
Mr. Sullivan.
And he drove up. He took the money. Then he came up to me. He had a gun. I wanted Judy back. He had a gun.
Did you see his car?
He said she was up there, beyond the road, tied to a tree. I wanted her back.
Mr. Sullivan, did you see his car?
I went to look for Judy. He drove away. She wasn't there. By the tree. Couldn't find her. On the way back, I saw her going to run away back. Let me find it. Children. Let me find it.
Before he went into a state of complete collapse, we showed Martin Sullivan a picture of Donald Alfred Kiefer. He definitely identified him. The information was immediately relayed back to Central Division, rebroadcast to the entire police radio system. A teletype was dispatched to sheriff's offices, and communications were sent to police stations throughout the country. The house-to-house search throughout the entire city intensifying. The dragnet in which we hoped to trap Donald Kiefer was drawing slowly inward. It was 12 midnight.
Sullivan girl murder. Next street. Read all about it. Citizens join search for killer.
Friday, did the papers get a list of the numbers on that ransom money?
Yeah, got them in the final night edition. 2.5 pages of serial numbers. Gave it a big spread.
Look at these pictures of Kiefer here, all over the front page.
The more the better, Romero. I hope this town never forgets that face. Good reminder. You don't make deals with killers.
Hi, fellas. Come on over.
Find anything yet, Lee?
Just checking over these towels here. Found them wrapped around the girl's body, inside the papers. Funny thing about those papers.
What's that, Lee?
They're all yesterday's. Every story about the girl's disappearance has been clipped out.
Maybe the guy's making up a scrapbook.
How about the towels, Jones? Any laundry marks?
Not a one so far, Ed. Every one of them was clipped off. Pretty smart. The morgue post the body in?
They're doing it now.
Yeah, nasty one.
Yeah. Did you get any footprints or tire marks out where they found the body?
Lots of them, all cast. Bossy and Taylor are checking them now. One thing.
What is it, Jones?
I don't know. Under the seam here. This towel. Wait a minute. Joe, that pair of snippers there.
Yeah. Here you are.
Thanks. Just back under the seam. There. That's one tag he missed.
Any markings, Lee?
Yeah. Greenway Apartments, Los Angeles.
One look at the apartment was enough. In an adjoining garage, we found the car which Kiefer had used, a blue sedan. Nebraska license plate 6X-ray 419. When we got back to the office, Chief Backstrand immediately issued a cancellation of the want order for the blue sedan, and then he ordered a detail of men to stake out the car in the event Kiefer decided to come back for it.
Here's a coroner's report, Joe.
Oh, let's see it. Cause of death, strangulation. Time of death, Monday, October 18th, approximately 2 p.m.
1 hour after we grabbed her?
That can't be right.
Skipper in his office?
No, he's out for a minute.
Hey, Joe, Ben, take the call off 2503, will you?
Thanks, Mike. Right. Would you give me the call on 2503, please? Thanks. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, when? We'll be right over. Some of the ransom money, Ben, just showed up. Beverly and Highland. Come on. The man's name was Ralph Donahue. He operated a used car lot on the corner of Beverly and Highland. He told us that early that morning he sold a dark blue late model coupe to a man who gave his name as Fred Sims. The man paid for the car in cash. Donahue told us that he checked the serial numbers on the bills after the man had driven away.
Serial numbers check out, Joe, every one of them.
If I only thought to look, officer, and you know I generally do. I'm the suspicious kind anyway, but, this morning I must have been asleep.
You got the full description on the car, Ben?
Yeah, Joe.
All right, let's get it on the air right away.
I saw his mug in the paper while I was waiting for you. Too late. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. At 10 minutes past 3 that afternoon, another piece of the ransom money turned up at a busy downtown department store. The clerk was unable to remember who gave her the bill. The detail throughout the general downtown area was strengthened. The house-to-house search of the entire city for Judy Sullivan's murderer went on. The afternoon dragged into the early evening. At 20 minutes to 7, Ben and I had a hamburger and a cup of coffee in the drugstore at East Broadway and 3rd. And then we got back in the car, checked with communications, and started cruising the neighborhood again. At 9 minutes to 8, a man answering the description of Donald Kiefer was seen crossing Sunset Boulevard just below Highland. 7 minutes later, the same man was reported near the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and Las Palmas. Communications relayed the information. At 21 minutes past 8, our car, 80K, along with a dozen others, were concentrated in the Hollywood Boulevard area from Gower Street to La Brea, Franklin Avenue to Santa Monica Boulevard. At 24 minutes past 8, Another piece of the ransom money was passed at a cigar store on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Hawthorne Street. The number of men and radio cars in the area was redoubled. Plainclothes officers were stationed at every intersection to keep an eye on pedestrian traffic. At 18 minutes to 9, the dark blue coupe which Kiefer had bought that morning was spotted parked in an alley just below Hollywood Boulevard and Coenga. We called Ed Backstrand.
City Hall.
2503.
2503.
Chief of Detectives Office, Allen.
This is Friday, Mike. Chief there?
Yeah, wait a minute. Just going out the door. Ed, it's for you. Backstrand?
Friday, Ed. Just spotted Kiefer's car, the one he bought this morning, parked in an alley off Coenga.
Harris and I are on our way up there now. We'll take care of the car. You take care of this call. Just came in.
What do you got?
The theater on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Fairview. The girl in the box office just took in a $10 ransom bill.
Yeah?
She got a good look at the man who passed the bill. She says it's Kiefer.
All right, Ben, come on.
Yeah. You got the list of serial numbers?
Right here. Let's check at the window.
Yes, sir. How many, please?
Police officers. Sergeant Romero, Sergeant Friday.
Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Rayburn, the police are here. Would you step around to the side door, Sergeant?
Yes, ma'am.
Margie, relieve Francis for a minute. Francis, come here. Bring that $10 bill with you.
Sharp girl, officer, that Francis. Sharp.
Here it is, Mr. Rayburn.
All right, Sergeant. There you are. $10 bill and the list of serial numbers.
Check out all right, Ben?
That's it, Joe. Good work, man.
You reported the man came in about a half hour ago. You're sure it was Kiefer?
Yes, sir. I have his picture in the box office just behind the change machine. I recognized him right away.
And as far as you know, he hasn't left the theater.
That's right, sir.
All right, Mr. Rayburn, I'm sorry. I'm afraid we'll have to interrupt the show.
Anything you say, Sergeant. Anything.
Ben, you keep an eye on the front exit. I'll call communications.
All right, Joe.
80K to Control 4. 80K to Control 4.
80K, go ahead.
Control 4, clear all frequencies. The Sullivan murder suspect, Donald Kiefer, has been located in the theater on the southeast corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Fairview. Have all units surround the area.
80K, roger. Attention all units. Attention all units. Assist 80K at the theater on the southeast corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Fairview. The Sullivan murder suspect has been located in the theater. Go ahead, 80K.
Control 4. Have all units converge in the general area, Hollywood Boulevard and Fairview. Unit 62R to block off the intersection at Hollywood Boulevard and North Cherokee. Stop all pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Unit 61A to block the intersection at Hollywood Boulevard and Hudson Street. Stop all pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Unit 71 and 72R to block the alley behind the theater. Unit 66 and 67R to assist at main entrance to the theater. Within a few minutes, the 1/2 mile area around the theater was completely blockaded. Every exit and entrance to the theater was covered. At 9:23, we met Harris and Ed Backstrand in the theater manager's office. Backstrand outlined our plan of operation. At 9:28, a detail of 14 men walked down the side aisles on the main floor of the theater and took up their posts on either side of the orchestra pit. The picture was stopped and every light in the theater was turned on. Ed Backstrand, Harris, Ben, and I went down the aisle and up onto the stage. Backstrand made the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry to interrupt the picture, but this is important. We're police officers. We've traced the murderer of Judy Sullivan to this theater. He is in this theater now. And we're going to search the theater row by row, and we'd like to ask your cooperation. There's no need to be panicky or afraid. Those who wish to leave now may do so. Leave by the main entrance. Each one of you will be checked as you go out the door. And for the benefit of the man we're looking for, don't try to escape. Every exit is covered and the entire area is blockaded. Don't place any more lives in jeopardy.
Come on, Ben.
Backstage, Joe. We can make it from there.
All right, let's go. Come on, hustle it, Ben.
Yeah. The next building. You'll probably try to jump for it.
All right, watch it. I think this door leads out to the roof.
There he goes.
All right, keeper, hold it.
Don't shoot. I give up. Throw your gun down. Over here. Don't shoot. Don't.
Let's get him.
All right, coppers. I got it figured. They won't top me for this. Didn't know what I was doing.
Put the cuffs on him, Ben.
Get away from me, you crump!
You shouldn't have hit him, Keeper. All right, Ben. Try the cuffs now.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get him in out of the rain.
What's the hurry?
Why spoil a good rain?
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed
to protect the innocent.
Donald Alfred Kiefer was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. He was executed in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 15th in a new series of authentic cases transcribed from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police, W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Deputy United States Marshal John B. Glenn of Boise, Idaho, who on the morning of July 31st, 1940, gave his life so that yours might be more secure. Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. Theater Guild on the Air returns tomorrow night on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and quotations used on the following program are taken from authentic news reports off the wires of Associated Press and International News Service. We present this material without editorial comment, since this station takes no official stand on any controversial question. We can, therefore, assume no responsibility for the attitude such statements reflect.
From San Francisco, the American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. "24 hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of
7. We're not here to tell you what is good or what is evil, or to tell you what is right and what is not right. Being only men as you are, and thus being as moral or as immoral as you are, we refuse to mount the seat of judgment to pass sentence on those as guilty or as innocent as we claim ourselves to be. Now, we ask only that you pause, observe, and reflect. You have an intelligence of your own. Judge these actions for yourself. Last week, beneath the spacious skies of America the Beautiful, in the valleys of the amber grain and the fruited plain, and in the city towers looming high with the majesty of purple mountains, the people rejoiced and rededicated themselves in a nationwide Brotherhood Week. Lofty and ideal were the speeches of Brotherhood Week. Stirring and altruistic were the pledges and promises of Brotherhood Week. Godly and charitable were the aims of Brotherhood Week. But there are 2 families in San Francisco who are asking questions. 2 families. City desk, Martin.
Say, boss, here's a pretty fair yarn on an eviction case. You want it?
Yeah, sure. What's it all about?
Well, it seems there's a gentleman out in one of the residential districts who objects to the presence of a Filipino family in the neighborhood. There's also a Chinese family living nearby that, it doesn't appeal to him either.
Yeah, go on.
Well, this gentleman says that the fact that these 2 families are living near him detracts from the value of his property.
Well, what's the matter? Does he have something against them?
Oh, no, nothing like that, boss. He just says that when he moved there, he was told that it was a neighborhood for white people. White people only. One of those restricted deals, you know? Well, now he's filing suit to have them evicted. Says he's losing money if they stay.
What about the 2 families? What have they got to say?
Well, they're plenty burned up about it. They're organizing, to fight the Neighbor Boosters Club who's behind this gentleman. One of the members of the Filipino family is, he's a Navy veteran, and he gave me a pretty good quote.
Well, go ahead. Let's have it.
Okay, boss. He says, "Is this what we've been fighting for? to have a bunch of stay-at-homes throw us out of our house?
No, we're not here to tell you what is right and what is wrong. We wish merely to report that last week the nation observed Brotherhood Week. In the churches and town halls throughout the country, the people rededicated themselves to the principles of tolerance and charity of the Founding Fathers. Columbia, Tennessee. A little more than 24 hours ago, the worst racial disorder in years, brought about by rumors of threatened lynching of Negroes, sweeps the city. 500 highway patrolmen raid a two-block area in the Negro section of the town where the non-white are carefully segregated. Armed with pistols and machine guns, the huge force of police search every Negro building in the area. Under the command of the State Director of Public Safety, the patrolmen fire withering blasts through the windows of the homes of the buildings. Groups of the Negroes huddle behind barricaded doors, answer the machine gun fire with 2 or 3 scattered shots. More than 40 Negroes are arrested during the raid. The State Director of Public Safety described the police exploit as a success. The origin of the bloody race riot is not clear, but it is reported that it started when a Negro woman and her son had a fight with a Navy veteran. The Negro couple were arrested, and it was then, according to one Negro, that the lynching rumor fired the town. Isn't that right? Well, we heard that the white men were going to have a lynching party tonight, and, well, we didn't like that. We didn't want any killing to start again.
And so, brethren, let us again renew our faith in Christian charity, in the principles of brotherhood that Christ himself handed down to us. And let us again resolve to act and live by the precept that we are all brothers, regardless of the color of our skin or the creed we profess, that we are all brothers in the house of the Lord.
We're not here to pass judgment on what is good and what is evil. We wish merely to report that last week, in a nationwide celebration marked by pledge and promise, the people observed the annual custom of Brotherhood Week. In a large eastern city, time, Thursday of last week, a Jewish newspaper editor and his family stand outside their burning home, huddled in firemen's capes against the cold of the early winter morning. I'm from headquarters, Mr. Byrne. I heard about how the fire started in your house. Do you expect anybody or suspect anybody in particular? Well, no, I could not tell you the name of the man. I don't think I know him. But lately I've been receiving phone calls and a few letters, too, warning me about the editorials I've been writing in my district newspaper. Well, what were those phone calls and letters all about, Mr. Byrne? Well, they said I was trying to make our district into a ghetto and a Negro colony because I've been opposing a drive by the neighborhood club to keep out all the Jews, Negroes, Italians, Chinese. I think you know, officer. You must have heard. Yeah, I've heard, Mr. Byrne. I guess this is their answer, huh? Yes. Tonight there was another telephone call, and then about 1 o'clock, my wife and I were...
All right, George, light the torches and let them fly. We'll teach that Jew a lesson he won't forget. Come on, let's get out of here.
You see, it is not our place to pass sentence on the incident. For we're only men as moral or as immoral as you are, or as they are. We wish only to point out that last week was Brotherhood Week. Several appropriate speeches were made, and the people as a whole pledged themselves to tolerance and charity. The annual observance was acclaimed a success throughout the nation. Priests and ministers. This is a story which probably will not receive the circulation it deserves. It concerns an incident which occurred last week at a southeastern Navy station here in the United States. And if my guess is right, it should give many a citizen cause to stop and ponder the worth and aims of our lately won victory. It all happened in one of the mess rooms at this particular Navy base where a group of officers... Now, look, I don't care what anybody says. It's all the fault of the Jews. Now, look, I was in the Pacific, yeah. And all the time we're sweating it out over there, the big Jews back in the States are demanding that we defeat Germany first, while the men in the Pacific starve and sweat it out. Now, oh, no, you can't tell me a thing about those Jews, brother. I know exactly what they're like. You can have them. I beg your pardon, Commander. I'm a Jew, and I think you're very mistaken in what you say. Well, now listen here, Mr. Goldstein. You're a lieutenant. The Constitution may say that I have to serve in the same Navy with Jews, but there are no Navy regulations that say I have to eat at the same table with them. Now, you other gentlemen will excuse me. Last week was Brotherhood Week. Last week was Brotherhood Week. Down through the rain, down through the wet, glistening street he came, his head bared, his frayed coat collar pulled tightly around his neck, a wide, ugly cut on his forehead, still bleeding, a monstrous bruise covering the side of his face. But strangely, I noticed he walked straight up, his head high. He came up and he stood beside me at the bus stop. And after a while he said, You are wondering about me. Is that not so? This cut on my head and this bruise on my face? Why, yes, as a matter of fact, I was wondering about... Yeah, well, it looks like a pretty nasty cut, mister. Tell me, how'd you get it? Well, it all happened so suddenly, I still cannot remember everything. I try. Tonight, like every Wednesday night, we have our meeting down in the hall on the west side of the city, you know? Yeah, I know where that hall is. Well, on Wednesdays, the people who are of my race, well, we all meet together to learn about our new country, to study the language, and to try to be better Americans. But tonight, we have some visitors. They are a group of men, and they say, we cannot stay here because this town is for people of their race only. We say we will not go. And then there is a big fight. The men wreck our clubroom, they smash our furniture, and they fight with us. They tell us in loud voices, get out, stay out. But we fight back because we know the laws. The laws say these men are wrong. Oh, but the laws, they are not everything. Are they? Well, no, they're not, mister. You'll find that out. Yes, we have found it out already. There are many things different about America than first I thought. Well, now, I must cross the street to the church. Would you like to come with me? I do not pray, you know. But I like to stand there in the church and say these things. It makes me feel better inside here after what has happened tonight. Well, I crossed the street with him and I went into the church. We sat down in one of the pews far back in one of the dark corners of the church. A few candles flickered uncertainly up at the altar. And after a long moment, he turned to me and he said, I do not hate these men who do such things. I am not bitter against them. Only I have so much pity for them. For is it not true? They are like frightened little children, afraid, running around looking for an enemy to fight. Anybody. But they do not see. The real enemy, he is inside them. Oh, they hate us. Yes, they hate us. But really, they do not know why. They would kill us
And then they would look down at our bodies, and they would feel like little children who had just broken their toys. They see only the difference of color or language. And they become angry because we are not as they. Oh, it is so sad. And that is why I have so much pity for them. So blind. They are so blind. The sun is there waiting for them, shining warm and full over everybody, but their eyes are still closed, and all they can see is the darkness.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd is the producer, and music is by Otto Clare at the Hammond organ. All characters in tonight's performance were portrayed by Jack Webb. Listen next week, same time, same station, for 1 out of 7. Mark Jordan speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting.
Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Homicide Bureau. A police officer has been shot, mortally wounded. One of the suspects has been apprehended. The other is still at large. Your job? Find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, November 16th. It was foggy in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of Homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, Chief of Detectives. My name's Friday. It was 11:58 a.m. when we got to the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, second floor, room 5. Treatment room.
Oh, you made good time.
How's Lee, Miss Dodd?
Got him in the lungs, Ben, 3 times. He's going fast.
His wife with him?
Yeah, they're bringing him down now.
Can we talk to him?
Yeah, make it fast.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, this way. Easy. John, it's Friday and Romero. I want to talk to you a minute.
Doc, it burns. My chest. Burning up.
Nurse?
Yes, Doctor?
The hypodermic.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, easy. All right, fellas. Don't take too long.
John, it's Joe Friday. Can you tell us how it happened?
Joe.
How'd it happen, boy? Can you tell me?
Can't figure it, Joe. Why'd he do it?
We gotta find out. Now, how'd it happen?
I don't know. I was directing traffic. East Broadway and First Street. Gray coupe. Pulled up for the stop. Gray coupe.
How many men in the car? How many, John?
2. Gray coupe. Pulled up for the stop. In the pedestrian lane. Went over. Gonna ask him to back up. Back up out of lane. Just gonna ask him.
Yeah, John, and then what?
Driver. Dark hair. Eyes. Dark. Went over. Gonna ask him to back up. Pointed a gun. No reason. Pointed a gun at me.
All right, easy, John. Take it easy.
No reason, Joe. No reason he fired.
Hurry it up, Joe.
Yeah.
No.
What about the other man in the car? Did you see him? Can you describe him?
Joe, did you get him? Gray coupe. Driver. Guy with him.
We've got the driver, John. He's upstairs. The other one got away. We gotta find him. You gotta help us.
My wife. Somebody send for Dora.
She's on her way. She'll be here in a minute. Now, can you tell us, the other man in the car, what did he look like?
Gray coupe.
What did he look like?
Don't press him, Joe.
Gray coupe. The driver pointed a gun. Dark hair.
Yeah, I know. The other man, John. We got the driver. What did the other man look like?
Send for Dora.
Come on, Ben. Thanks, Doc.
Okay, Joe.
You going fast?
Yeah.
John got any kids?
2.
Always pick up family, man.
This thing's got a phony ring to it, Ben. You don't just pull a gun and shoot a man.
Not if you're sane, you don't. Here's the stairs.
The guy we got is as sane as they come.
And how do we explain it?
All I know is that hood shot John Bemis, and I want to know why.
Might be a lead in that car he was driving.
Maybe. Come on, here we are.
Phone message for you, Friday. Came in a few moments ago.
Thanks, Davis. It's from R&I.
They got a make?
Take a look.
No make or warrants on James Vickers. Great.
Let's talk to him. Come on.
Minor wound, Joe. Bullet penetrated the fleshy part of his hand. Didn't touch the bone.
Thought this guy had an arm wound, too.
Just a neck, man.
That officer you shot, Vickers, he's dying.
Is he?
He's a family guy. Got a wife, 2 kids.
Has he?
Why did you shoot him, Vickers?
Ask him.
We did.
And you know the reason.
Said there wasn't any reason.
That's right.
Look, we're going to make you on this, Vickers. You know that, don't you?
I don't know anything.
Why'd you shoot him?
Shut up.
Why'd you shoot him?
Joe.
Yeah. Davis?
Yeah?
Stay with him.
Fine.
Doc, get us an MT slip on this guy, will you? We'll be back in a minute. Come on, man.
All right, Joe. I'll have it ready.
Too big punk.
Easy, Joe.
Oh, easy nothing. I've seen too many good cops like Bemis cut down by punks like that Vickers.
Getting mad won't help.
Come on, down the stairs.
Like to see Bemis? Why?
Just for the record. I want to see if the doc thinks it's okay for us to bring Vickers down. I'd like to have Bemis definitely identify him as the guy who shot him.
We've got 3 good witnesses.
An identification for Bemis will clinch it. I want to see Vickers get everything he's earned when he goes to court.
Here we are.
Yeah.
He went fast, Joe.
Yeah. That his wife?
Yeah.
Did she make it in time?
No?
Did he say anything that'd help?
Yeah, it might. He said a prayer.
City Hall.
2625.
2625.
Auto records, Crowley.
Joe Friday, Vince. What about a make on that car used in the Bemis shooting this morning?
Yeah, Joe, been trying to get a hold of you. Where are you now?
Georgia Street, 2nd floor. What about the make?
Car was reported stolen yesterday afternoon. Registered to Harold Simpers, 716 Everett Street. Report said the car was taken from a parking lot at Grand and Wabash.
Okay, Vince, thanks.
What about the guns they found in the car?
Lee Jones still has them over at the crime lab. He's running them through.
No word yet?
No.
You make out the impound report on the car, Joe?
Yeah, recovery report, too. They're still dusting for print.
MT slip ready, Doc?
Yeah, right here, Ben. Medical card, history, MT slip.
You ready, Vickers?
Yeah.
All right, put out your wrist. Put the cuffs on him, Ben. Watch his hands.
You saving me for the highlights?
All right, let's go.
I'm not going to jail.
You're in jail now.
Looks like a hospital.
Bars on the windows, aren't there?
All right, come on.
Give me a smoke.
Here.
Okay. Light. What do I get if I open up?
No deal.
Might talk, make it attractive.
Who was the other guy in the car?
Hitchhiker. I always give rides.
And why'd he run when we chased you?
Maybe he was scared.
You're part of a gang.
Maybe.
Who was the other guy?
What's it worth?
Oh, come on, Vickers. You're wasting our time.
Where are we going? All right. My hand hurts. I want to call my own doctor. You hear me? That cop pulled his gun first. I can prove it.
Yeah, down the stairs.
Easy, huh? Where are we going? I said, where are we going?
All right, what's it worth if I talk? I can tell you all about it. Let's make a deal.
You'll tell us anyhow.
Think so?
All right, you, out the door.
Wait a minute, huh? Cigarettes out.
All right, Ben, light it.
Yeah.
Nice of you guys. Thanks.
Get up, Ben. Vickers, stop!
He's crossing the street.
Fire over his head. Watch the car. Vickers!
Joe, he's running for that car.
All right, let's hold it, Vickers. All right, stop it, Ben.
He's stopped. Come on, Joe.
All right, come on, get back, Jim. Let us through here. Let us through.
Shall I call the doctor, Joe?
No, he wouldn't be interested. The guy's dead. James Vickers, murder suspect, address unknown, died almost instantly at 1:13 p.m., November 16th, while attempting to escape. His body was taken to the county morgue where it was posted. All the personal effects found on the body were listed by the coroner, and a receipt for them given to our office. At 8:35 the next morning, Ben and I met with Chief Detective Ed Backstrand.
Those 4 guns they found in the car Vickers was driving. They're all U.S. Army property. Where were they stolen from, Skipper? I don't know. Each one of the guns is stamped U.S. Army, that's all.
Well, that makes it easy.
The coroner find anything on the body? Nothing to tell us why Vickers decided to kill a traffic cop. What did Bemis say before he died?
He was on traffic duty yesterday morning down at East Broadway and First. At 10:35, a gray coupe pulled up for a stop sign. Vickers was driving. Bemis started over to tell him to back up out of the pedestrian zone. Vickers pulled a gun and shot him.
How'd they catch Vickers?
Chased him 3 miles before he piled into a lumber truck. The guy with him got away.
Fine. Checked R&I. No make or warrants on Vickers. Kickback's not in on his fingerprint. All right. What's your guess, Fatty?
I don't have one, Ed.
Vickers could have been hopped up. Doc Stanley over at Georgia Street said no. He checked him. Wait a minute. Backstrand. Yeah, hold on. For you, Friday.
Okay, thanks. Friday talking. Yeah. Yeah, good. Be right over, Lee. We're in business, Ed. Crime Lab just found Vickers' address.
There it is, Joe.
Thanks, Lee. Let's see, huh? Silver Dollar Hotel. Received a Mr. James Vickers, $6.50, room 345.
Where'd you find it, Lee?
Under the front seat, in with the tools.
Anything else?
Not a thing.
How about prints?
2. Kind of smudged. Hope we can run a make with them.
No prints on those 4 guns, Lee?
Smeared. Not enough to classify.
Well, this is it, Ben.
That's all we got.
Come on, let's see if we can make it pay off. We located the Silver Dollar Hotel on East Grand between 16th Street and Pico. It was an old-type frame building with a brightly colored neon sign jutting out over the sidewalk just above the dark entrance. The manager's name was Luther Gage. We showed him a picture of James Vickers. He definitely identified him as one of his former tenants. He told us that Vickers had stayed at the hotel 1 week in room 345 and that he had checked out 2 days ago.
Was Vickers staying here alone, Mr. Gay?
Yes, alone. Quiet man.
Did he have any visitors?
Maybe. Wouldn't know. Paid his bills. Spent most of his time away from the hotel. Good tenant.
Did Vickers have any friends here in the hotel?
Maybe. Fell in the room next to Mr. Vickers. He still lives here. 2 of them used to be kind of thick.
Can we look at that room Vickers stayed in, Mr. Gage?
Let's see. Yes, it's still vacant. All right, this way.
This man Vickers was friendly with. What's his name, Gage?
Knight. Raymond Knight. Room 343.
Is he in his room now?
No. Went out about 8 this morning. Here's the elevator.
How well would you say Knight and Vickers knew each other?
Couldn't say. Good tenants, both of them. Pay their bills.
Did they go out together? Seem to know each other well?
Wouldn't know. I don't pry.
Look, this case involves murder, Mr. Gage. We told you that. We'd appreciate your cooperation.
Cooperation don't pay the rent, Sergeant. 3rd floor. This way. Here, 345.
Open it up. Nothing.
Yeah, no, here it is. Looks pretty clean, Joe.
All my rooms are clean.
You didn't mean it that way, Mr. Gage. I wonder if you'd show us Knight's room now. That's next door, isn't it?
I don't know about this. Poking into other people's rooms. Not regular.
Neither's murder. Come on, let's go.
Does Mr. Knight have this room to himself?
Sure ask questions, don't you? No, Knight has a friend staying with him. About 2 weeks now. Not in much.
Is he in now?
Don't think so.
Ben, watch it.
Drop that, you.
Bad shot, Mr. Gates. Look out. Come on, get up.
Ben?
He's out cold. Look what you've done to the room.
I thought you said Knight wasn't in.
He isn't. This is his friend.
Great friends. 45 automatic in his hand. 38 snub nose in the bureau, another 45. Look in his bag.
I don't pry. He pays his bills. Good tenant.
Yeah. Can I get outside on this phone?
Yes. All outside calls are 10 cents.
Yeah. Here.
Have to keep the books straight.
Sure you do.
Who's going to pay for the damage?
Ask Mr. Knight's friend here.
Well, say...
Why worry? He pays his bills. Good tenant. I called Ed Backstrand, and he sent out a special detail to stake out the hotel and bring in Raymond Knight if and when he returned. Ben and I drove to the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, where Doc Stanley patched up the cut on Ben's scalp and treated Raymond Knight's friend for simple cuts and bruises. From papers found in his wallet and in the hotel room, he was identified as Frank Gannon, 9896 Wasatch Street, Kansas City, Missouri. When we got to headquarters, we had Gannon taken to the interrogation room where we questioned him briefly. He told us that he was a self-employed watch salesman, and that he was in the city on a business trip. He admitted friendship with Knight, but not with Vickers. We booked him at the county jail for assault with intent to commit murder. The 3 guns found in the hotel room were turned over to the crime lab. We reported back to the office.
Joe, my head's pounding like mad. That Gannon's a mean one.
Yeah, it's a nasty crack. I got some aspirin in my desk.
Might help. Here are.
Hi, boys. Rough day?
I don't get much rougher, Eddie.
Message for you on the desk. Now I'm going to eat. Starving.
Right, Tracy.
What is it, Joe?
Jones got a make on those prints he lifted off the car.
Let's see. Yeah, something else in there on James Vickers.
Wanted 10-14-43, desertion, U.S. Army.
That could account for those stolen Army guns.
Yeah.
What about the make on those prints Lee found?
Let's take a look.
Vance Taylor. Good solid record.
4 burglaries. 2 armed robberies. 2 assaults. Wait a minute. Here's the mama sheet.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Born so-and-so, age 36. Height. Alias John Fields, Harold Grant, Tom Bissell, Joe... Hey.
Yeah, alias Raymond Knight. The other man who rode in the car with James Vickers the morning he shot down Traffic Officer Bemis finally had been identified. Vance Taylor, alias Raymond Knight. Well, that still didn't explain the unprovoked murder. It didn't explain the 4 guns found in the car or the 3 guns found in the hotel room. An assortment of arms like that could mean something big, but we didn't know what. Gannon's sudden willingness to shoot it out in the hotel room meant something, too, but we didn't know what. We had Gannon brought back to the interrogation room.
Hi, Gannon. Have a seat.
Everything all right?
I'll bet you're worried.
No, we're not worried, Gannon. You ought to be.
Don't make me laugh.
You're tied in with Raymond Knight. That's enough for us.
You send me up for it.
We're going to try.
Big talk.
How long did you know Vickers?
I didn't.
Funny. His prints are all over one of those guns we found in your room.
I'm not worrying.
Then you better start, Gannon. Vickers and Knight killed a man. If you run with him, your hands are dirty, too.
I room with Knight, that's all.
Knight didn't come back to the hotel. Where is he?
We're not that close.
You share your guns and your friends. That's close enough for us.
I don't know Vickers.
You mean you didn't know him?
I said I don't know.
We got Vickers, Gannon. He's dead.
Good story.
Okay. Come on, Gannon. Let's get on the more.
Down this way, Joe. Cold today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's damp.
Bad sinus weather.
No. What is all this?
Never seen a corpse before?
No, I'm not in this. Take me back. I don't want to look.
You can close your eye.
Take me back. I don't want to look.
Here we are, fellas. Slam 45.
This way, Gannon.
I get sick. I don't want to look.
Throw back the sheet, Fred. Take a good look, Gannon.
No, he's Knight's friend. I'm not in it.
Who is in it?
I don't know. Take me out. I'm sick.
All right, Fred. Thanks.
Okay, buddy.
Interrogation room Friday.
Joe on stakeout at the Silver Dollar Hotel. No sign of Raymond Knight. Keep you posted.
Okay, Dave, thanks.
How long does this go on? I can call a lawyer, you know.
And you better call one right away, Gannon. They just picked up Knight at the hotel. He's incriminated you.
You're a liar.
Sure. Like we were about Vickers.
We'll prove it to you, Gannon. The officers are on their way in now. They're going to put Knight in the next room. You can listen to them.
Look, I came here to sell watches. I ain't in this.
Gannon, you and Vickers and Knight were planning a job, a big one. We know that. If you want to wait till you get on the witness stand to tell your story, it's all right with us.
Well, didn't take too long to break this one. Smoke some?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah? Smoke?
What are you going to do?
Nothing. Just kill a little time. They bring in Knight.
You haven't got Knight.
I haven't unwrapped them yet, Joe. You want to check me out?
Okay, open them up. Give them a good shuffle, huh? You're going to have some time on your hands, Gannon. Want to learn a new card game?
No.
Suit yourself. It's a good game for two. Better with three.
Sure a lot of cards.
Yeah. You got 2 decks there. Well, first off, this game is quite a bit like gin rummy.
Yeah?
There are 8 of every suit. 4 jokers. Jokers count 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
Red 3s count 100 points each. If you get a black 3, you can freeze the deck.
I see.
I shouldn't say deck. In this game, they call it the pack.
The pack? What's a pack?
Well, it's the discard pile, same as in gin.
You get a red 3, you can freeze it.
No, it's a black 3.
Well, what happens when you freeze it?
Nobody can pick it up.
Oh, I see.
All right. Let's deal out a dummy hand here. Fine game, Gannon. Sure you won't change your mind?
You don't want to play, Joe.
All right, now in 2-handed, you deal out 15 cards, see?
How many can play?
As many as 6, I think. I've only played up to 4.
You play partners with 4?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, count your cards. I think that's 15.
13, 14, 15. Right. Now what do I do?
Well, I guess you better lay your hand open. That'll be the easiest way to show you.
Okay.
I'll spread them all out over there. Well, you don't have a great hand there. You got a couple of black 3s. You can use those.
Yeah, that's fine. They count 100 apiece.
No. Those are red 3s. Black 3s don't count anything.
Oh, red 3.
That's right. Do you remember what black 3s are for?
You can use them to freeze the pile.
Pack. That's right.
The pack. Well, you know what I mean.
All right, now, look, you see, I got a joker here. Jokers are wild. Do you remember how much they count?
They're wild. 100 points.
No, red 3s are worth 100. Jokers count 50.
You don't explain it very good. I don't understand.
Well, how simple can it be? Gannon's not even playing. You get it, don't you, Gannon?
Okay, red 3s count 100. Jokers count 50. Black 3s, you can freeze the pack.
Yeah, good. Now, hold on to that, will you? Now, black 3s freeze the pack, but that's not the only card that can do it.
No?
No. Deuces can do the same thing. But you see, the only difference is if you use a deuce, which is also wild, you have to have a natural pair in order to pick up the pack. Now, with a black 3, it's good until...
I knew it wouldn't work. It was sour right from the start. Vickers killed the cop.
Ben,
I'm not in it.
stenographer.
I'm
Right,
copping
Joe.
out. I'm taking no raps.
Johnny, the stenographer?
Right, Ben.
All right, Gannon.
Too late. You haven't got time. 20 after 1, they're going to do it.
Do what?
Payroll. Brazier Company. Messenger leaves at 1:20. He's got the payroll. 30 grand. They're going to get him.
Where does the messenger leave?
1:20. You're too late. I'm not in it.
Where does he leave?
1:20 leaves the bank, I think. No, maybe the company.
Where's the company?
3rd and Spring. They're going to get him.
Where's the bank the messenger goes to?
Up the block, 2nd National, 3rd and Hill.
Where are they going to get the messenger?
By the alley, Clay Street. I'm not in it.
Ben, check it. Get out of communications. Have him put out a call to block off the area. Give him the details.
Right.
Johnny.
Yeah, Joe.
Stay with this guy.
Okay.
Davis. Let's go. Brazier Manufacturing. Olympia.
Good afternoon, Brazier Manufacturing Company.
Give me your payroll division. This is a police department emergency.
What's that, sir?
Your payroll division. It's an emergency.
One moment, sir.
Come on, hurry up.
Payroll, Hopkins.
Mr. Hopkins, this is Sergeant Friday, Police Department. We've had a tip your payroll messenger is going to be held up today. Has he left your building yet?
The messenger?
Yeah.
Oh, my, he left early today. Went out the door about 10 minutes ago.
Thanks. Second National. What's wrong?
Friday, what's all the excitement? You break that guy?
Wait a minute, Ed. No time.
Good afternoon, Second National.
Give me the manager on duty, please. Emergency.
One moment, please.
One moment. Come on.
I'm sorry, sir. The line is busy. Would you care to wait?
Give me the chief teller.
Thank you.
Chief Teller, Waters.
This is Sergeant Friday, Police Department. Emergency call. Has the payroll messenger from the Brazier Company left the bank yet?
Well, I wouldn't know, Sergeant. Just a moment. I'll have your call switched.
Yeah.
Operator.
Beatrice, would you give this call to Miss Chalmers? It's important.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Miss Chalmers, good afternoon.
Miss Chalmers.
What's the matter, Friday? You sick?
Yeah, I'm sick.
Miss Chalmers, good afternoon.
Miss Chalmers, this is Sergeant Friday, Police Department. Has the payroll messenger from the Brazier Company left the bank yet?
From Brazier's? Why, yes, not more than 2 or 3 minutes ago.
And he had the payroll with him?
Of course.
Thanks. Got a tip on a payroll sticker, baby. Coming?
Yeah, let's go.
Ben, down this way. Coming. Let's hustle it. Down the stairs. Communications get the story?
Got it on the air now. Where's this Brazier Company?
3rd and Spring, about 5 blocks from here. Come on. Here's the garage. All right, come on, hit it. Let's make time.
Get the radio on.
Just warming up.
All units. Attention all units. On 3rd Street, corner of Clay Alley, 211. A bank messenger. Suspects are headed west on Clay Alley. Suspects are armed. Code 3. 11R. Take the call.
Cars are closing in fast.
4th Street up ahead, Ben. Might meet him at this end of Clay Alley.
Hold on. No, looks pretty quiet at this end. Not much you can do without... Hey, look. Coming out of the alley now. Guy with the police. Brown coat.
Guy with him. Pull up, Ben. Now, let's go.
All right, you two, hold it.
They're running for it.
Come on.
Ben, what's this box? Let's go.
Come on, they're losing it.
I see him up ahead. They're turning onto Hill Street.
Romero, come on. Will you, Skipper? You see him, Joe? Heading for the subway terminal.
Yeah, they're going into the crowd. Don't lose them. All right, I'll take the ramp to the left.
Ben, go with him. I'll take the one to the right. You see him, Joe?
No, I lost. Now, wait a minute. There they are, over the turnstile. Come on.
Joe, they're off the platform. They're crossing the track.
Ed's got one of them. Come on, over the turnstile. Come on, Ben.
Joe, the other guy. Heading down into the tunnel. He's crazy.
Come on, after him. Hug the side. He's trapped, Ben. There's a train coming through.
You, come back. You're trapped.
Ben, get out. Hug the side.
Get into it, Joe.
You all right, Joe?
Yeah. You?
Mm-hmm. You want to check?
No, I don't think it's any use.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
Wonder why he tried so hard, Joe.
I don't know, Ben. Some people are like that. You can blow the whistle all you want. You never know when to stop.
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Frank Gannon, the only surviving member of the hold-up gang, was tried and convicted of the crime of assault with intent to commit murder. He is now serving out his sentence at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 16th in a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Private Richard H. Taylor of the Washington, D.C. Police Department, who on the evening of December 13th, 1946, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles.
Phil Harris likes a great deal about the South. We like a great deal about Phil Harris. For instance, we like his beautiful blonde wife, Alice Faye. In fact, we like the Phil Harris Alice Faye show, and it just happens that it returns to the NBC air tomorrow. Why don't you take our advice and listen to one of the funniest shows around anywhere? That's the Phil Harris Alice Faye show tomorrow on most of these same NBC stations. Your tune for the stars on NBC. Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide. A mad killer is loose in the city. In every instance, he leaves the murder weapon behind. There are no fingerprints, no clues to the killer's identity. Your job, get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 3rd. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was off duty reporting back in on an emergency call. It was 3:57 a.m. when I got to the basement of the city hall. The carpool.
Let's go, Friday. Sorry to call you back in. Couldn't be helped. All right, Ben.
Okay, Skipper.
What's up, Ed?
Double murder.
When?
I don't know. Found out about it 40 minutes ago.
Got any ideas?
Roughly same M.O.
Was that 6413 Norwich, Skipper?
No, 6430.
What do you mean, the same M.O.?
The same guy. Brickbat killer.
How many does this make?
Counting tonight, 4.
We got anything at all?
Smudged fingerprint we can't even classify.
Sounds like a smart operator.
Well, we gotta get him. We have to shake down the city from one end to the other.
Big job, Skipper.
Big killer.
At 4:26 a.m., we pulled up in front of 6430 Norwich Drive, a small group of bungalow apartments facing on an oval-shaped garden court. 2 uniformed officers were stationed at the door to the apartment.
Hi, Chief.
Hiya, fellas.
We went inside. Wellberg from homicide was waiting for us.
This way. In here.
Well, there they are.
Yeah. Mother, daughter.
Joe, on the floor beside the bed.
Yeah, a red brick.
Miss Hafters, we know how you must feel about all this, but would you please try to answer a few more questions for us?
Yes. All right. Oh, Margaret.
Miss Hafters, how long had you known Mrs. Diaz and her daughter?
9 years. This November they moved next door. I remember it so well. We got along right from the start.
And as far as you know, the only close friends the mother and daughter had live right here in the apartment court?
Yes. Margaret was a pretty girl, but she was no chaser, no boyfriends. Very close to her mother. The two of them very close.
Did they keep any amount of valuables in the apartment? Money, jewelry, things like that?
Oh, no. Mrs. Diaz and Margaret didn't have much, you know. Very modest income. They both worked.
And you can think of no good reason.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Margaret. Poor Mrs. Diaz. Lying in there. Shock. A terrible shock.
Wellberg.
Yes, Sergeant.
Would you show Ms. Hafters back to her apartment?
Sure, Sergeant. Thank you, Miss Hafters. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Poor Margaret. Poor Mrs. Diaz.
Well, Joe?
Let's check with Ed. He's back in the bedroom.
You get anything from the neighbors?
The usual, Ed. No jealous boyfriends, ex-husbands, nothing like that.
Boys find any evidence yet, Skipper?
Well, still working on it.
You got any theories?
Well, we know the killings were all done by the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts the same pattern out of the window screen. Cuts the same pattern with a glass cutter out of the window. Reaches in and flips the locks.
All right, where's that leave us?
And before he gets inside, he makes sure there are only women in the house. That means he probably watches the house for a few days.
Yeah.
Once he gets inside, he wants only one thing, to kill. He's never taken any valuables. As far as we can tell, he's never searched for any. What kind of a man works like that?
I think the guy's kill crazy.
Hey, fellas.
Yes, Donnie?
Here's a break. 2 fair prints. 1 thumb, 1 forefinger.
What'd you get, Pete?
Only got 9 points. Not enough to go into court, but enough to make him. We'll know him when we get him.
Yeah.
Found the prints on the lens of the old lady's eyeglasses. Probably knocked him off the night table when he went after her.
And when he was done, he put him back on the table.
Yeah. Had blood on his hands, see?
Yeah.
That's funny, isn't it? Why would he go to the trouble of picking up the woman's glasses after he killed her?
We'll ask him when we find him.
All right, Ben. Joe, I have something for you.
We can use it, Lee.
Hold it just a minute.
Yeah.
Crime Lab, Jones. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'll tell him. Right, Ed. Backstrand. If you're through checking the victim's clothes by 8 o'clock, you can knock off for sleep until noon.
What if we're not through?
Take it up with the chaplain. Here's what I wanted to show you. Over here. A couple of casts.
Bare footprint.
That's right.
Those from the Diaz place?
Found them outside the dining room window in the flower bed. Take a look.
Mm-hmm. Good cast. Size 9.
10.
Missing toe there, huh?
Left foot, first toe.
That's lucky.
Well, and the guy took his shoes off before he went in that house.
That's the way it looks.
You leave any other prints, Lee?
3 with his shoes on. Here they are. Here.
Yeah. How would you say the guy is built, Lee?
Oh, from the impression, pretty heavy man. There's no full length of stride, or I might give you an idea of his height.
How about the bricks, Lee?
Here they are, all 3 of them. Used this one in the first murder, this one in the second, this one last night.
Leaves them around like calling cards, and there's no way to check them.
You'll never get a fingerprint off a common red brick like this, Ben. Surface is too rough.
Well, we got an idea of his weight. We know that the first toe's missing from his left foot. That's something.
The one we had yesterday. We can check that missing toe in the amputation file, Joe.
Yeah. Well, we better get back. Pete ought to have those prints ready, too. Thanks a lot, Lee.
Okay, fellas. Say, they post the bodies yet?
Yeah, they're doing it now. Same as the first 2.
The brain?
Concussion, hemorrhage. They didn't have a chance.
Hold it a minute. Crime Lab Jones. Sure, just a minute. Either one of you fellas.
I'll get it, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, Romero. Yeah. Good, we'll be right over. They got a make on those 2 fingerprints.
Okay, Joe. Single print file. Made him on the index finger.
Let me see, Pete. Take a look, Ben.
Yeah. Doesn't look like a killer, does he, Joe? Kind of nice looking.
That's right, Pete. They said the same thing about John Dillinger. The name at the top of the make sheet read, Carlos Richard Monterey, male, Caucasian, age 19, height 5 feet 11 inches, weight 165 pounds, dark brown hair, dark brown eyes. Last known address, 1663 Naples Street, Los Angeles. Previous arrests, 1. Auto theft, February 8th, 1936. That was all. Ben and I had been expecting more. The information on the mama sheet for Monterey was 13 years old. So was the picture. So was the description. So was the address. In 13 years, a man can change in 1,000 ways. So can his habits, his appearance, his address. In 13 years, everything can change except 2 things.
A man's fingerprints and a physical deformity. Missing toe on left foot. Carlos Richard Monterey.
Here it is, Joe. 1663 Naples.
Yeah, come on.
Somebody's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? What is it?
We're police officers. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, yes. Would you like to come in?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes?
Would you mind telling us your name?
Monterey. Isabel Monterey. What is it you want?
You're married?
Yes. My husband is Francisco Monterey. Would you explain why you are here?
We thought you might be able to help us. We're looking for a man named Carlos Monterey.
I don't understand you.
We're looking for a man. We'd like to talk to him. Do you know where he is?
Yes. Carlos is dead 7 years ago. He's dead, my husband told me.
And does your husband know Carlos, or did he know him?
He was his brother.
What about your husband's parents, Miss Monterey? Where are they?
They're both dead. Sometime now.
Have you ever met Carlos?
No, never. I have only heard of him.
What have you heard of him, Miss Monterey?
Do not ask me.
This is important, very important.
Francisco would not like it if I told you.
It's important, Miss Monterey, believe us.
Carlos, he's sick. His mind. For 8 years, Francisco has not seen him, not heard from him. He thinks he's dead.
But he only thinks so, Miss Monterey. No one's told him his brother's dead. He just thinks so.
What else is there to think?
Where's your husband now?
At his work, his store. Rivera Street near Main. Grocery. Monterey Cartwright Grocery.
Here's your change. Thank you, Mrs. Myers. Now, look, officers, you know how it is. You don't like to let these things get out. That's why I trust you.
You can trust us, Mr. Monterey. We just want to check on a few things.
Oh, fine. Always glad to help out if I can.
Well, can you tell us if your brother was ever in a mental institution in his life?
Oh, I know there was nothing wrong. 1923. Got a little bad, so Mom and Dad had to put him away for a while, just till he calmed down. I remember the day. Sometimes. Dumb, stupid kid. What do you know? Standing there by himself in the train, crying. The public nurse, stupid way he cried. What do you do? I cried, too. I was only 10, Sergeant. I saw him go. He was alone.
Later on, Mr. Monterey, your brother was released from the state institution.
Yeah, he was 16. And then he started running around, playing tough, carried a gun, lived by himself. He never came around. He dropped from sight about 1938.
You haven't heard from him since then?
Nothing. Never seen him.
Do you know of anybody who might have seen him?
Ooh, there was a girl he had. Anita something. On Soteo Street. Anita Martin, yeah, that's it. Soteo Street. Maybe she's seen him. Ask her. Maybe she's seen him.
Carlos Monterey? Not in a year. Last March he was in. When I was working at the Peacock, down on South Main. He came in, we talked for a while. That was all.
And you haven't seen Carlos for the past 2 months or so?
I tell you, no.
Has he written to you? Has he phoned you?
Once, 3 weeks ago, he phoned. Here. He left a message with my girlfriend. But he didn't call back again. Now, that's it. That's all I know.
Thank you, Miss Martin. Here's our card. If he does call, well, you'll let us know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You liked Carlos, is that it, Anita?
Like him? No, I didn't like him. He was funny. But he was nice. You know, I pitied him.
Why did you pity him, Miss Martin?
Well, he was a good fellow who was strange. He could smile, you know. He had a nice smile, but you could tell he was never laughing. There was something in his mind. Something... Oh, I don't know.
At least a year, closer to 2, I haven't seen Carlos. No letters, not a card, nothing. He was in the East the last time I heard.
When was that?
A year ago, January. I was in here. He sent me a calendar. Sometimes he could get along fine, very well. Other times, terrible. He couldn't keep him down.
How'd he manage to stay out of jail that way, Vicente?
I don't know. Sometimes he should have been in jail 5 times over.
You say you don't know of anybody who might have a recent picture of Carlos, a snapshot?
No. No one I can think of.
Okay, Vincenti, here's our card. If you do think of somebody, let us know, will you? It'll help.
Sure, glad to. If I hear of anybody. What kind of a day is it outside? Hot?
Hot. By 5 o'clock that afternoon, Ben and I were certain of one thing. Carlos Monterey was in the city of Los Angeles, somewhere. We drove back to the office and told Ed Backstrand about our interviews with Monterey's relatives and his friends. Inquiries and requests for further identification and information on him were immediately relayed to the state mental institutions. The 13-year-old picture of Monterey taken from the files was copied and distributed with a note of caution as to the age of the photograph. An APB was sent out. Stakeouts were placed at the home of Monterey's brother, at the brother's store, and at the apartment of Anita Martin. A special detail of 300 men was ordered to join the Dragnet already in operation. The details at the airport and the bus terminals were alerted, as well as the details at the Union Depot and the main post office. By 6 o'clock that night, almost 1,000 men were actively working at the job of tracking down Carlos Monterey. At 6:30 p.m., Ben and I drew a 4-hour relief period. We drove out to Ben's place, and his wife fixed us some dinner. At 10:30 that night, we reported into the office, picked up Ed Backstrand, and we drove out to join the manhunt.
Unit 32R on the corner of South Flower and Loomis, on 390W, KMA 367. Unit 12A, code 1. 66A and 864 Wall Street. Send them out about a 507, KMA 367. Unit 42, 5430 East Grand, Apartment 10, 311, KMA 367.
We cruised with the Dragnet operation until 5 o'clock that morning. Ben and I took turns driving. Actually, the tremendous job of scouring 500 square miles of city for one man was only beginning. Unless there was an unexpected break, the search for Carlos Monterey could wear on for weeks. It did. Night after night, the manhunt went on, and day after day. There was no break. 16 days later, on a Sunday night, I went to bed early. I read a while, and then I turned off the lamp and went to sleep. Hello? Friday talking.
Sorry, Joe. Get in here as fast as you can.
What's the matter?
That girl Monterey knew. The one you talked to?
Yeah?
She left her apartment, went to her girlfriend's.
Yeah?
She's dead.
There it is. Ordinary red brick. Found it by the body.
How long's she been dead, Skipper?
Well, she was seen alive about an hour and a half ago.
Got 3 bare footprints, good length of stride. Found them down in the lot beside the house.
What do they look like?
Same guy. First toe missing from the left foot. The same weight impression. Should be about 5'11". That checks out with what you got, doesn't it?
All right, so it's the same guy.
What about those shoes we found, Lee?
Yeah, they correspond. They were impregnated with foreign matter.
What'd you find?
Particles of lettuce leaf, dry onion skin, traces of red cabbage.
Maybe a vegetable counter.
Maybe.
What about the city wholesale market down on Front Street?
What about any market in Los Angeles?
No, Lee, that wholesale market is big enough to hide anybody. Hundreds of transients work in there. Some of them even sleep there. For a guy like Monterey, it'd be perfect.
That's a fair guess. Check it when it opens.
They open at 2 a.m.
2:30 now.
All right, get back to the office and pick up as many extra men as you need. Get down there right away.
Okay, Ed.
Now, you know he's a rough one, so watch it.
On Monday, June 23rd, at 2 minutes past 3 a.m., we pulled up at the city wholesale produce market. With the exception of 54 police officers in plain clothes who mingled with the buyers and sellers, business went along as usual. The market itself covered almost 3 square blocks in the lower part of the downtown area. It was divided off into hundreds of individual stalls by flimsy wooden partitions. To make the search even tougher, the place was crowded. For the first 45 minutes, we had the men circulate at random through the crowd on the chance that one of them might spot Carlos Monterey from the 13-year-old picture. It didn't happen. After that, we started a systematic canvass. We talked to the customers, we talked to the managers of the different booths, we gave them Monterey's description, we showed them his picture. Nobody recognized him. We checked the employment records one by one. Not a sign.
Sorry, Sergeant. I'd like to help. I've never seen the guy.
Okay, Mr. Snyder, thank you.
We sure pick the sweet jobs, don't we?
Oh, yeah. We could spend a year at this.
Oh, Sergeant Friday.
Yeah, Kamansky. Did you find something?
Guy at the booth over there against the far wall. Thinks he might have hired Monterey a couple of days ago.
Come on, Ben. Where?
Over there, Sergeant.
You showing Monterey's picture?
Yeah, he thinks it might be him. Mr. Fresnetti, this is Sergeant Romero, Sergeant Friday.
Yes, I call your boy, Sergeant. This fellow Carlos, I hired him to help last Thursday. Big rush for me now, so I hired him.
You sure he's the man?
In the picture? I think so. A little older, maybe. Oh, but I know faces. He's the man. You're looking for him?
You say you hired this man last Thursday?
That's right. It's a big rush for me now in the morning. I hired him Thursday. He worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But he don't show up this morning, so I got no use. Too many men to pick from. He don't show up, I let him go.
What kind of work did he do for you?
Same as he did for Schiller down there. Heavy work. Moving the stores, cleaning up.
What kind of produce does Schiller handle, Mr. Fresnetti?
Fancy, very fancy vegetables. Choice. New potatoes, expensive red onions. Schiller sells to the big hotels.
Does Schiller handle brown onions, Mr. Fresnetti?
Oh, only the best. Big dealer at the Schiller. Sells it to the big hotels.
How long has this Carlos been working around the market?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like the rest. First he worked for me, then Largo Massini, then a Schiller. Hey, why are you looking so hard for him? He stole something?
He murdered somebody.
Him? Mamma mia, murder.
Do you have any idea where Carlos lives?
Me? No. And if he comes back here, I tell him to get out. I got nothing to do with this trouble.
No, you'll tell him nothing, Mr. Fresnetti. Here's our card. If you see Monterey again, call us. Say nothing to him.
Oh, sure. I bring him.
Joe, call the chief at the office, will you? Message just came in.
Thanks, Al. Come on, Ben.
Yeah, there's a phone booth. See?
No, I don't. Where?
Straight ahead, little to the left.
Oh, yeah. You got a nickel?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you are.
Thanks. I'll see what Ed wants.
City Hall.
2511.
2511.
Chief of Detectives Office, Hannon.
Hi, Mike. Ed there?
Ed, take it on extension 2, will you? Backstrand talking.
Friday, Ed.
Move fast on this one, Joe.
What's up?
Main post office. Carlos Monterey picked up a letter there less than 5 minutes ago.
Come on, Ben. There's Ed over there with Goldbergs.
Yeah. Traffic short jammed up around here.
Hi, Ed.
Friday, Romero. You all set, Goldbergs?
All set, Chief. Spring Street to San Pedro. Sunset the first. Got it covered.
Good.
What's the story?
Post office detail tipped us off. 5 minutes after 8, a man answering Carlos Monterey's description picked up a letter at the general delivery window. That was 16 minutes ago.
Who spotted him?
Sam Lane. Got a look at him just as he was leaving the window. Called to him to stop, but Monterey ran. Lane called me, and we threw a net over the area for 6 blocks around. And Monterey's still somewhere inside this area? I don't know how he could have gotten out.
What's next?
Well, I'll give him an hour to break for it. After that, we start a house-to-house search of the whole area. Stop all pedestrian and vehicular traffic for identification. You're going to jam up the depot traffic. That's cheaper than murder, Romero. Get going.
The first hour we counted off in 5-minute segments. Like Backstrand, we felt close enough to Monterey to touch him. But he still wasn't there. The north and south ends of the blockade started to move in, slowly, searching every store, every house, every conceivable place where a man might hide out. In the meantime, Ben and I worked the Spring Street side of the blockade, watching the faces of the pedestrians as they came through one by one, examining all vehicles and their drivers. The morning wore on, the sun came out, and it started to get warm. By 11 o'clock that morning, Monterey still had not been found. The temperature was 93 in Los Angeles. It was still climbing. The search went on. At 10 minutes past 2 p.m., Backstrand made the round.
How's it look, Skipper? Not good. Going slow.
How much longer you figure?
I don't know. It'll go to after dark, that's sure. District down here is like a rat's nest.
Yeah. Nothing?
Nothing. But he's someplace inside this blockade. He's got to be. Any chance of getting relief for the men in our squad? Some of them been working straight through since yesterday. I'll see. Check with me around 5 this afternoon. Thank you, Skipper. Keep a sharp lookout. One slip. That's all it takes.
The search went on. At 3 o'clock that afternoon, the temperature was 95. We sweltered and we waited. At 3:45, Backstrand sent a squad of men into the Union Depot to search it from top to bottom. There was one false alarm when one of the men thought he saw Monterey slipping out a side door into a taxi. He turned out to be a train conductor. At 25 minutes past 4, Backstrand passed along the order to our detail to start moving in, house by house. It was a tedious job, and it went slow. The men were tired. At 5:30, the relief squad showed up. Ben and I stayed on. After another 2 hours of house-to-house searching, the trap was narrowed down to a 3-square block area, a single block wide and 3 blocks long. It started to get dark. Backstrand ordered out batteries of floodlights. By 8 p.m., the cordon closed in around the last 2 square blocks.
Lines are all set, Skipper. Ready to move.
Good.
What do you think?
Well, we'll know pretty soon, one way or the other.
Frank, keep that traffic moving.
All right, you two, get going.
See you later, Skipper. Joe, let's take a look in here.
Okay.
Sure is an old building.
Yeah. Where'd Kamansky go?
I don't know. He's here a minute ago. Oh, wait. There's his flashlight. It's down the end of the corridor there. He's signaling.
Yeah, come on. Kamansky?
Yeah. Down below, Sergeant, in the basement. Come on.
Monterey?
He's been there, I think. Here, this way.
Where?
Over here. Now, watch your step. The light's bad. Here he is. Says he's the janitor.
Oh, my head. It's been slugged.
All right, come on. How'd it happen? Can you tell us?
Yeah, a big man hit me. I came down to empty the baskets. He hit me and ran. Ran over to the new building.
The new building? Is that the one next door?
Yeah, just a few minutes ago.
Nobody's come out of this building for the past half hour. Every door in the place is guarded.
No, not the doors. He went through the tunnel. I saw him. Over there's the tunnel.
I'll take a look, Joe.
Yeah, the tunnel. Connects the 2 basements. Same company, old building, new building. The tunnel connects the basements.
Joe, come on.
Yeah. Kamansky, get out the Backstrand. Tell him what's happened.
Right, Sergeant.
And call an ambulance.
Right.
All right, Ben. Through the tunnel.
Watch where you're going. The light's bad.
Yeah, it is. That a door up ahead there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Let's go.
Good. There's a stairway. Come on. Watch the doors.
Joe, the elevator. They're both on the 3rd floor.
Let's head for the stairs. Ben, come on.
One more floor.
Yeah, right. Come on, hurry.
Yeah.
Look, top of the stairs.
There he goes.
All right, hold it, you.
Stuck in the elevator. Joe, he's going down.
Well, we'll never make it on the stairs.
Joe, look. This other elevator. The control lever's bent.
Let's try it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, kick the control lever. Kick it, Ben.
Good.
All right, Ben, knock the lever back. Come on, quick.
Yep.
What's the matter?
Joe, it's jammed. We're going fast.
All right, let's kick it. Here. There, that does it. Can you reach the door control?
Wait just a minute. I'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's still in the building.
Both elevators are here now.
Yeah. Down the hall, Ben. The office on the left, I think.
Yeah. Here we are.
All right, keep clear of the door. All right, Monterey, put on that gun and come on out.
I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! All of you!
Okay, Joe, let's take it.
Watch it, Ben. He's throwing everything he can get his hands on.
I'll kill you! Come on! Come on! I'll kill you! Get away! Come on, you!
All right, Monterey.
Come on, you.
Everywhere you kill you!
Okay, Ben, take him.
Yep.
Nice looking guy. Clean cut.
Yeah.
Doesn't figure, does it?
What's that?
My wife would say he doesn't look like a killer, does he?
What's a killer supposed to look like?
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Carlos Monterey was examined by 5 different psychiatrists appointed by the Superior Court and was found to be sane. He was tried and convicted of murder in the 1st degree. He was executed in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 17th in a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the office of W.A. Wharton, Acting Chief of Police, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to motorcycle patrolman John Kramer of the El Paso, Texas Sheriff's Department, who on the afternoon of April 26, 1940, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. Your tune for the stars on NBC.